I mean, do you have the Funk Brothers on your list?
No, that's. Do they even have matches out on YouTube? Because obviously we don't have the network anymore. So
I bet. I mean, you were sending. Well, those are Bob Backlund matches, but wasn't one of the Bob Backlund versus Terry Funk?
yeah, that's on there. The match he had with Bret Hart that wasn't at WrestleMania. They have that on YouTube. Let's see. Let's see if it's on here. I put in the Funk Bros and some fucking cave dwellers came up. And one of them has an axe. I have no idea what this is about. But all right. You know, it would be crazy if they had the Briscoe brothers matches on YouTube. Let's try that instead first.
All right, Jack, let's go.
Like, yo, if they got that on there, they got the Briscoes, but not the Briscoe brothers.
Yeah, they got the Briscoes with the E.
Yeah, I don't know. You think they have any archives of the Briscoe brothers? Like, okay,
they probably. I mean, because you're a whole argument about Wilt Chamberlain. They got footage of Wilt Chamberlain, but they don't have footage of, Bruno Sammartino or fucking the Briscoes or fucking Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, I think they don't have Briscoe brothers. Like, they have a bunch of interviews, but not like actual matches, which is great.
Yeah, they probably just have photos of like Gerald Briscoe in a hold.
Like, I don't know if you can see the Funk brothers versus the Briscoe brothers, but it's 7 minutes. And back in the day, they were not going 7 minutes. It was going 20 minutes.
They were each going 7. Each of them was 7 minutes, so 28 minutes. Yeah. All right. Come on, Dory. I can still wrestle. My knees ain't bad yet.
Yeah, this is let's see. Does it say that? Damn, bruh. Terry has looked old his entire life.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, with Terry Funk is like he was born old.
Yeah, he's one of those old faces. I don't know how this keeps coming up. What? The autograph signing, like, it's called RF Video One. They do the shoot interviews.
Well, that one podcast I listened to, they just did the ECW Born to Be Wired show, where it was Sabu, Terry Funk, and the barbed wire match, and they read like how Sabu like ripped like the flesh from his arm and like had to like tape it, and that like Terry Funk was still like hitting him, and he's like, that old stubborn son of a bitch was. I'm like, Terry, give me a second, because Terry Funk's like, I don't give a fuck. We got a match to do. Like,
bro, can I wait? Back in my day, if you broke your arm, you wouldn't be a pussy. You just
I was like, Terry Funk's like, come on, you fucking pussy.
Like, bro,
I got no knees, and I got no knees, and I'm still out here.
And at that point, he was 78, allegedly. Terry Funk is now 82 years old.
I don't know how.
So the math ain't mathing, but still, y'all follow me. Once again, I said he's been looking old his entire life.
That's the thing. Would you rather like be born old and like age slowly, but you look old, so that's like defeats the purpose of it?
So essentially, you saying that Terry Funk carry his case or hardcore Benjamin?
Probably. Well, Benjamin Button is aging in reverse. That's being born old with a young mind, and then as you get older, your body goes younger, but your mind stays old. Because I remember at the end of that movie, he's like an 8-year-old with dementia.
Yeah, that actually made me cry. I ain't gonna even hold you. I don't know why. That scene had me crying. But essentially, babies do have dementia. Think about it.
I think that's the point of it. Yeah, I think that's the whole point of that movie is like, no matter it's that the cycle of life just repeats itself at the end and at the beginning. The middle is what you want.
Well, he was 100 years old. He was knocking them back at the whorehouse. Remember that?
Or I really only remember like that part, the dimension part, and then I just always see that clip on like whenever like you follow stuff on Instagram, like on the spotlight page, will like show film pages you should follow, and there's always like that same Benjamin Button clip of him and Kate Blanchett looking at each other because they're the same age. Like, I want to remember us just as we are now, because like he's finally young. He's good looking Brad Pitt, not old Brad Pitt with the CGI face. Like,
But it was nasty because remember when he became a baby, she took care of him, but she had a kid with him when he was.
They're
like,
the same age. Yeah, that's the shitty. Again, that whole movie is like, is it pedophilia? Like, that whole movie.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett thought she was Grizzly Smith.
Fucking David Fincher. I don't know why he made that. Probably because he knew it would get Oscars, and then he would get to do the shit he wanted after. But I think David Fincher's better than that. And again, David Fincher.
About that new movie that's coming out?
The David O. Russell movie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Someone just said that it has the people that are in it. They listed like John David Washington, Christian Bale, Robert De Niro. The people that aren't in Knives Out 2 are in this movie, which that's pretty good.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, you didn't make the cut, but
I think I think it's more David Russell because his whole thing is like, look who I got in this movie, and it's like, but your movie still sucks. He's like, well, fuck you. Like,
well, no, that's how he talks to his talent. That's why I said,
that's what I mean. No, that's what I mean. He's like, they're like, David, sure you got all of us together, but what's the story? There's no fucking story. It's just famous people, and they're like, oh.
All right, so
whereas like Steven Soderbergh's the exact opposite. He gets all these famous people, and it's a fucking great story.
Well, he's talented. That's all.
Yeah.
I didn't see the stripper movie, but still.
With your boy Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Magic Mike. I didn't see that. He tore his quad taking off his shirt. I heard.
100% he tore his quads.
Just taking off his shirt.
Every time he's shown in that movie, he's sitting down.
That's funny. I never seen that movie, so I wouldn't know. Now I gotta just look at the clips. And well, they can still do the camera work, but he's 6'9" too in the strip club. Like, I feel bad for back in the day, or probably still. Well, no, not really. All they do is play fucking Fortnite. Back in the day, when like basketball players go to the strip club, it's like, yo, imagine seeing Mutombo in the strip club, bro.
Oh my god. Could he get in?
See Shorty on stage. Exactly. Every time she asks for more money, the Mutombo finger. No. I give you $1,000 already.
I give you
no more for your money. Fucking, they throw the money up in the sky. He swats it out the sky.
Him sounding like Cookie Monster, like no.
Don't he sound like the fucking Where the Wild Things Are? He sound like that.
But
have you not heard Mutombo talk?
No, I have. No, because there's that again when the NBA players are like that mean tweets for Jimmy Kimmel. It was like you've read the tweet like, why does the Dikembe Mutombo sound like Cookie Monster or something like that? It was just, and I say that more like Cookie Monster voice because that's how he sounds. He's like Cookie, which is like, God damn.
Yo,
see, that's how you know
the worst whisperer ever. Like, imagine him trying to tell you something. You like, yo, whole fucking eardrum about to explode.
Guess what?
No, motherfucker, ain't no
damn, like
your secret's out. The guy's ears and everybody else around this motherfucker. You don't need to tell me anything else.
You're your own megaphone.
Exactly. Just put the finger up like this and speak. I don't know.
You think that's why he did that? No.
It's like maybe that's how he lowered the octave in his voice somehow. Either that or he's trying to be Macho Man. Macho Man loud as hell. That's another person. If they speak, damn, bruh, please.
Yeah, why
talk,
well, I got a very important secret I gotta tell you. Become a little bit closer, cause I'm too loud. I gotta whisper.
Man, Mosh, get to the fucking. That's what I would have been saying. Get to the point, bro. He be always like,
no guy is like he's. Come on, I gotta take. I'm gonna start at the beginning and I'm gonna go slow and tell you bit by bit. I remember when he was the voice of the Dexter's Laboratory when the side stories of the monkey, and they had like the wrestling match, and he was like,
wow.
And he shows up and he beats everyone again. Like the lines, like, I do not like you, samurai. He's like, monkey. Oh,
damn, bro, you taking it back. I haven't seen that in so long.
I used to watch. I think I had that on VHS. That's why I used to watch it all the time because I think it was part of the Dexter's Laboratory movie, if I'm not mistaken. Like a bonus thing at the end, like a bonus part at the end.
It was down M for monkey, the wrestler, RASSLOR, wrestler. I remember this shit now. Yeah, he was that lucha mask, and he was this.
Yeah, I was like, he had the like Rey Mysterio mask with fucking George Washington wig hair, like.
I remember that, bro. That was
he beat everyone's ass. He beat Van Halen's ass. He beat Kronk. I forget the name of Captain America / Superman. What his name was.
Oh yeah, that's when they had that little spinoff with them, or they have
the superhero. The superheroes. Yeah.
Just his friend's name. It was Van.
Yeah, it was like Justice. Yeah, Van Halen, which is basically
Van Halen.
Major Glory. Yeah. And they had a whole episode. They had a whole episode of Kronk getting a chip stuck in his tooth. They made a whole 6-minute episode about him having to go to the dentist.
God damn, bro, you bringing back memories. I ain't seen this shit in 20-some years.
I said a couple years ago, if I was if I had pool at a studio, I would make a Justice Friends movie. And just treat it like Deadpool, like not serious, just have fun. Again, we know these guys are ripoffs of Justice League and Avengers, and that, just have fun with it.
They should bring back Ed, Edd and Eddy in this decade as a cartoon. Think about it, because it's essentially they was hustling to get a piece of candy. Bro, he was basically a Forex trader trying to get some. They were big. He was up there trying to get PP loans and all that shit. They can do that now. Bring it in the modern era. Instead of getting candy, they trying to get. I don't know.
How old?
What the fuck kids
supposed to be?
12.
I was I thought they were supposed to be 12, but I wouldn't be surprised if the whole time they were supposed to be 15, 16.
I mean, they was dressing like you.
Let me see.
Before we get started, dressing just like you. Who's up north, or I should say on the West Coast? It was dressed like you. This is my last resort.
I mean, I always did plank. And it's just a fucking piece of wood with the same expression, and then he was like, "Oh no, what's wrong, buddy?"
I've seen a theory that apparently, how people come up with these weird cartoon theories. Apparently, they said, what if he was actually talking to him?
No, I would believe that. Yeah.
See. That weird theory. I don't even want to talk about Ed and Eddy because they're we're all the parents.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if they were supposed to be 16, 17. We'll get isn't it really that's what I mean. If you can make it now, it was just supposed to be so white trash because again, those sisters and all that, and wasn't the one guy the only rich guy? Yeah. So that's what I mean. It was just they were, like you said, they were scammers. They were hustlers. They were basically Eminem and 8 Mile. I live in a fucking trailer.
They dress like them too, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They got the DC shoes on and shit. What's that? The Kanker sisters?
Yeah,
They was up here feeding them sandwiches.
See, that's what I mean. They were like, how old
They
were they
was using
supposed to
the
be?
straw.
Yeah, but Banks versus Davis, episode 10.
Probably 22.
We're talking tag teams today because WWE had to announce it was tag team week. What are you trying to? How their fits? People will dress like that now and say like that's drip. Unfortunately,
say they dress exactly like Travis Scott.
Yeah, it takes Ed and Eddie takes place in Astro World.
Hey, wherever that is, you're right.
Exactly, but
seriously,
WWE announced it was tag team week. Banks and I have been talking about doing a tag team episode for months now, but not just tag teams in wrestling, tag teams in sports, music, movies, and life. So expect some fuckery, like me and Banks are saying in pre-production, but still with some knowledge. And Banks, I mean, do you want to just get it started?
I don't know how much knowledge. I don't know how much knowledge y'all think y'all gonna get from me. Just understand, I don't know. This might be my last episode after
you say that every week.
I swear. Hey, what, did Dave say that? He's like, one day, this is gonna be it. He said that in season 1. Yes. After he did the Black Klansman episode, remember he was like,
yeah,
this is my last episode for sure. I feel like one day. All right, you want me to start off?
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, I got a good one to start off with.
Okay, cool. So the first couple ones are very PG people, so we're gonna do that in this one shit.
No.
That's
not what they want.
It's one of the greatest shows be in power. No. Look, trust me, you got to start off. You got to build the audience up. Trust me. If y'all keep listening, it's downhill fast. So I'm gonna go time. Or you want me to do wrestling? Is that what you're saying?
No, anything. We can keep it at whatever. Like I the one I was gonna start off is half wrestling, but it doesn't matter. We just start off with whatever.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna start off with that one. Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before.
All right. I'm on the land connection, by the way, too. I don't know why I always have these problems.
All right. Well, I'll just get it started. I'll just say mine because again, like I didn't hear what you said. So, my first one. This will be taking it too far. My first one is Kurt Angle and Perks. Because we all agree that Kurt Angle is great in WWE again. Hit the Grand Slam, the Triple Crown with all like his first 2.5 years. Then he goes to TNA and he took it up another level. And as we know, with the benefit of hindsight, he was Kurt Angle. He was doing 450s off the top rope and running 450s off the stage. He was skinny, but still jacked. Like, he had no arm or neck strength, so that's what's crazy. But Kurt Angle on the perks. Again, you'd be like, type in perk Angle, you'll get a fucking montage of insane shit he did. Moonsaults off the cage at, his age. And I think this is why Kurt Angle left him. For a man that never drew a dime in Jeff Jarrett. Imagine your girl leaves you for a man who never drew a dime. You already won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Like I said, WWE champion, triple crown, all that, Eurocontinental champion, main event of WrestleMania, where you're wrestling with a broken neck that can almost paralyze you. You then have this second act resurgence. Sure, you're perked up a majority of the time, but still, you're playing on bangers of AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage, fucking Sting, and then your girl leaves you for Jeff Jarrett, for the guy who just breaks guitars? Come on. So even when Kurt Angle was down, he still had perks. He always had perks by his side and they carried each other, because I think I'm not saying perks was Jannetty, because obviously we wouldn't have got Perk Angle without, obviously, the titular name, but still. I think people want to talk about future and perks. I think on Mount Perkmore, it's Kurt Angle number one on the list.
Okay, fuck it. You want me to go ahead? Fuck it, we already here. Let me go with my next selection. I'm going with steroids in pro wrestling.
Ooh. So you're saying
I gotta break it down?
You're saying wrestling was better when it had steroids? I mean, I'm saying had, like, when it was like obvious.
No, it just built the foundation for what we get now. Like, you know what I mean? If we didn't have people that, well, we didn't grow up watching them, but if the founding fathers, so to speak, of wrestling didn't have steroids, you know what I mean? We wouldn't have the wrestling we have now, where everybody's actually worried about their health and actually don't want to be 250. You know what I mean? What if Lex Luthor never did steroids, bruh? Well, if he never did steroids, never did drugs, Miss Elizabeth would be here, but that's besides the point.
He never would have done anything because he was in the NFL, probably also. I mean, he played football probably because of steroids too. So Lex Luger without steroids is probably just a normal guy. He's whatever his name is.
So he would have been you,
basically, as far
as like a physical aspect.
Okay.
I was about to go further. I was like, but yeah, steroids in pro wrestling. Without that, we wouldn't have. Well, no, that goes into. Let me add cocaine to this as well. I was going to put
no. You already made it. But so are you saying that wrestling? If anyone had to partner up with steroids, wrestling is the perfect partner. Not any other sport, or movies in terms of like Schwarzenegger, Stallone. It's wrestling is where steroids really isn't prominent without wrestling.
Well, the thing is with Schwarzenegger, he did it because he was a bodybuilder. He did it because of that. Like Sylvester had no reason to do it. Like, bro, you are an actor. You act. Like, nobody's touching your body. You're supposed to take steroids. But I mean, with football, baseball, I shouldn't have said baseball, actually. But
because baseball did with steroids, yeah. So I'd say, like, is wrestling more boring than baseball now without the steroids, even though there's always rumors about who's on and who isn't?
Well, the ones that's on it not really getting pushed like that. And then one of them is the FTW champion. That might be on it. Well, he threw the title away. One of them is from, not that far from where you grew up at, not that far from where I grew up at. Y'all can do y'all Googles and look up.
Not everyone knows. It's funny because we already discussed this on Black Wrestling about Brian Cage just being too jacked. I'm like, but like he doesn't have to worry about a wellness test, so he can do what he wants.
Yeah, y'all talked about that, and I was listening. Yeah, it is. All right, so shouts out to T.C. Fletcher, the legend. He said there's no such thing as too swole. Bruh, Brian Cage is too swole.
Yeah. He's
I
really
can't do it all the time.
Exactly.
Like, bro, you just got muscle.
I remember like maybe 4 years ago, I think Colt Cabana had a video like him putting a sticker on his back and Brian Cage couldn't get it off because like his arms couldn't bend all the way around. Again, it's the Marcus Burnett. They can't bend over to wipe their own ass. I'm at that point. That's just because you're old.
I can't laugh, bro. No. I can't laugh because I can't do the same thing anymore. So I don't put pounds on. I can't do the same thing, bro. Like legit, as y'all see. Yeah, and I saw that bicep too.
But no, I agree in that steroids again, and like a bad tag team partner has caused more harm than good.
Has it?
Redacted.
Let's say the road caused more problems because a lot of them always talk. They blame it on the road.
Oh my god!
Which can't be true, bro.
Again, look at Eddie Guerrero WCW with the mullet, and then look at Eddie Guerrero 2005, just with the SpongeBob inflatable arms.
With no legs. That's the crazy
exactly.
thing. Like,
exactly.
Leg day all the time.
Yeah, bro, he was just.
They don't fill out, bro. And you gotta think they probably doing 2 a days too, so.
Yeah, morning and night, yeah.
I won't blame it on the road, bro. Unless they really just pump it.
Of course you would, as a steroid user, you would of course use the road.
Imagine me on that. Boy, imagine me on that. I would have threw this laptop by now.
Yes or no? Do you think Zack Snyder's on steroids? Yes or no?
No, he your weight. You keep thinking like this dude up here, like dog. He is UFC fighter shape. That's what it is.
Watch you see Zack Snyder in person and him be fucking jacked.
No, come on, bro. He ain't got arm. I ain't gonna even show mine on screen. The gun's gonna come out. These ain't guns. These bazookas, bro. You talking about steroid? Oh, this is natural. With the gut. The gut came with it. I can lose the gut. You can't be 6 foot. I can lose the gut.
All right. Let's go on this really dark trend because I already told you this one off air, but I had Ric Flair and alcohol because again the man said he spent more on spilt liquor in one night than you've made in your whole life. And I know people can also chalk it up to cocaine, but really, I mean, Ric Flair is champagne drinking, limousine ride, and jet flying, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. And you can see it now where he's still drunk as fuck anytime he shows up on WWE TV. Just like again, the nights at the bar, went to the bar, dancing on the bar naked. So obviously, Ric Flair. Probably the poster child for alcoholism.
I don't think so.
Really?
I won't say fake because he kayfabe.
Maybe the poster child for a successful alcoholic.
No, poster child for being a bad father. That's
a fact. Yeah, but don't forget. Apparently, Steve Austin's a bad father too, because like his children live in Britain. They live in the ends.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. He might be a legend for that. Cause it's like, bro, I can't like, especially now. He'd be like, man,
oh, you mean like, hey, Dad, we're never gonna see you. I can't fly over. Fucking COVID's going on. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I was about to say, Pop. I can't do a British accent, but Pop. When do you come see us, Pop? When do you come see us, Stone Cold Pop?
No, they say Dad.
Come over there,
Dad.
God. Like, how do you explain? That's the funny thing, bro. How do you explain that? Like, yo, my dad is Stone Cold Steve Austin. You mean look? Fuck out of people.
Because their mom is British. That's why.
I know, but it's funny. They have a British accent. You see how like works? He has a British accent.
Well, we
He had
discussed
his,
this
I
before, I
mean,
think, with Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, like being born in Chicago but having British parents, and then I think moving back to London. His brother has an American accent. Christopher Nolan's like, in film, you've got a particular type of camera that will follow through as I'm wearing the scarf in 80-degree weather. But I'm chilly. And Jonathan Nolan's like, here we got a great story in Westworld, which is like, get the fuck out of here. Like, if you were British, you'd be way more successful. Like,
that's why he shouldn't have kayfabed it, bro.
yeah.
But it's just
Well, I think
weird.
Christopher. I think Christopher Nolan. I think it's a put on for Christopher Nolan. I think 100 at home, he's definitely like, he's not like blimey. He's like,
And John David, boy, he's good. That boy is good. He ain't like his daddy. I wish I could work with his daddy. I don't know why I got him with a southern accent, but that's how I feel like Christopher Nolan talking to me.
Christopher Nolan.
Maybe the scarf gives him the accent.
Talking like Gerald Briscoe. Mr. Washington, you got in this scene, I want you. I got the camera right behind you. It's a tracking shot.
That's when he takes the scar off him. When he takes it off, then all accents come out. He probably got an LA accent. He probably got 20 different accents.
Yeah, Ric Flair and alcohol. Ric Flair and alcohol. It's obvious. I mean, look at the promos. Look at his face. Just
it's cold, bro.
But I had someone else for Coke, so I didn't want to use that. I wasn't trying to reuse the same partners. That was the thing.
You know what? And
I think someone benefited. I think someone benefited more from Coke than Ric Flair.
Okay, fuck it. Let's transition then. I got rock and roll music in Coke.
Ooh, I had Martin Scorsese in Coke.
So you see what I'm saying? It correlates.
It correlates because Martin Scorsese loves the Rolling Stones, and what were the Rolling Stones doing?
Heroin. But I got that on my list as well.
You can stop me up.
Yeah, we gonna get to that as well. That benefited an individual or two or three. According to, you ever heard of speedballing?
Yeah.
Cocaine?
So obviously, rock and roll music. You're talking about rock and roll. You're talking about like the Guns N' Roses, the Motley Crues.
Everybody. I'm being kind of serious. Everybody in that era. It's either that or you John Morrison or Adam Morrison. I'm sorry.
No, you're Jim Morrison. Adam Morrison's Gonzaga.
All the Morrisons.
You got. I don't care if you're Jim Morrison, John Morrison, Adam Morrison, Tony Morrison.
Well, Jim Morrison was using needles, but he had diabetes, so he had to get right. So he had to get to that. But yeah, no, I should have. Yeah, cocaine, because I shouldn't have said the entertainment business. How about that?
No, because that's too wide. Because again, like Rick James or rock and roll music?
Well, I could have said music as well because it was R&B singers. Even though Rick James is rock and roll, he is rock and roll. Want to keep it a bug.
Mm-hmm.
So you got him. He just out with his for the most part. That's the problem. People are not gonna tell you that they did it in R&B. They hit it. A lot of them did that shit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name no rappers that probably did coke. But
you mean the guys that sold it? You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but so we're gonna just keep it with rock and roll because it's the cool. So yeah, so rock and roll singers.
So the traits to be a successful rock and roll act: lots of leather, either jackets or pants, cocaine, and I don't know,
orgies.
Okay, so those are the three things you need.
Yeah, because all right, I'm gonna say this for you because a lot of acts weren't as good as we thought they were.
No, that's the whole thing. It was not that they're bad or dog shit. It's just that it was through that haze. It's smoke and mirrors.
Like legit,
Coke. It's Coke in mirrors, Coke on mirrors. It's
like because from the 70s, I listened to or late 70s, Motorhead.
That's
Ozzy
racist.
Osbourne. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I'm like, okay, I gotta start listening to this. Black Sabbath. That's racism probably as well. Guns. I hate Guns N' Roses with a passion, except for Slash. That was real racism because they hated Slash. Shouts out to him. His mom's is from South Central. He's from LA too. The Doors just was creepy, even though that was like late 60s, early 70s.
So you're saying that's why we don't have good rock and roll bands now, is because cocaine is not involved?
No, because damn, we about to have a real music talk. You about to have me get in my nerd bag.
No, I'm just saying, all right, like Imagine Dragons is supposed to be like the biggest rock and roll band, but like they're Mormons.
No,
so there's obviously cocaine.
Yeah, they drink kombucha and shit and meditate, bruh, and have their 20 wives. So that's why it would never be like that. It's like, so we talk about like earlier, Blink 182 and all these other bands from that 90s, 2000s era. It's like, that's the best rock for me because it's my era. It's the same thing with maybe your pops or anybody in your family. It's like nostalgia factor makes it, oh, this was great because this is what you had then. But the lyrical content had no value to now. It had value then, but not now. Like the shit that Guns N' Roses and them was talking about, like, bro, the anarchy shit, essentially is just white genocide. Do we have that now? Yeah. They just called the Jonas Brothers. Think about the right. No, think about it.
Nope.
Come back to me. They caused a lot of riots, the Jonas Brothers.
Next up, I got Suge Knight and the Color Red.
Boy, I don't even know if that counts because you might want to say where he's from is the tag.
No, because again, look at that man. Anytime, like he had the full red suit on, like Jalen Rose at the '94 draft, right? Like '95. Like, come on.
I'm here to tell you, as an LA local, Bloods love telling you they Bloods without telling you they Bloods.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Again, like anytime you saw him. I think it's the last real dark one I had in terms of.
Oh, that's it. Well,
yeah,
we're going to
for me,
on
for me at least. Yeah, I know you got. I know you got Tiana Trump and what?
No, I actually don't have that on there. That's funny though. I might bring something to this. I don't know. All right, you done?
On the dark ones, yeah, that's all I had for Dark Davis.
Oh well, shoot, I got plenty more. Actually, yeah. Speaking of dark, he doesn't like his coffee dark, but I got Josh and white women on this one.
Okay, no, we're not throwing our brother under the bus, especially when you are also part of the NWO.
No, he got on Black Variant, and he up here said, "I'm like the elite." What he said, the poom poom justice.
I'm talking right. I'm talking right over this because we're moving on. No, we're moving on.
Okay, cool. Then Pat Patterson and his nighttime activities. I got that too. That's the other tag team.
Next.
Shawn Michaels and this man.
For some reason, I thought of Pat Patterson, the basketball player, first. I was like, "What do you know?" I'm like,
"No, that Pat in the stretch limos."
Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon. Okay, that's not bad.
Time activities.
I think 100% Shawn Michaels wrote that Adam Cole promo this week, like Jay-Z wrote for Dr. Dre on Chronic 2001. Shawn Michaels is like, Adam, here's what you're going to do. You see Karrion Kross? He's like, Kev's a big guy, can't work that well. And you're like me, got the long hair, you're skinny. You're a better wrestler, so just go out there and
Yeah,
talk about the
it's
truth. No, he was like this. Like, hey, come closer. Oh, there we. Now you're good. Sean, what the my? Like,
He's from Pittsburgh. You ain't got to do a southern accent. I don't.
everyone in
Ain't that
wrestling
far
talks
from-
with a southern accent.
Which is insane. At one point, they did.
Exactly. Even The Rock talked with a fucking southern accent.
Well, he was in. It wasn't Ohio where he was training. Tennessee, wherever they was training at during that time.
But
Knoxville.
all right, what do you have? What's your biggest case for Shawn Michaels? What's their biggest accomplishment together, Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon? The screw job? Okay, all right, next. We're just speeding through your dark ones so we can get to some legit ones.
The jokes write themselves sometimes. The jokes write themselves.
Yeah,
All right,
so
cool.
did Vince McMahon? You're a sexy
Wait a
boy.
minute.
Here's Vince McMahon. You're a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Boy. I'm not your boy. That's good. That's good shit.
It's good. You know, you should put hearts
Linda.
on your. Well, shit. What if?
What if what?
Never mind. Never mind. We was about to go to the danger zone. Remember Jim Cornette used his wife? Never mind.
Okay, nope. All right, you know what? I'm just stopping this now. You're
Okay,
yeah.
that's my last one. Let me go to my last one, Davis. Goddamn. I got Jimmy
You
Hendrix
said-
and Harold.
Yeah, if you're playing a guitar with your teeth, you might be under the influence of something. And it's good, and it's good, then you might be like heroin is like the hot tag, like come on. Like
The crazy thing is he had a British accent and he's from Seattle.
but he lived in London.
He's from Seattle.
But he
Washington.
lived in London too though.
I don't give a goddamn. Bruh, have you not heard Seattle people talk? They sound like LA people, which is the funniest thing.
No, I was so what Daniel Bryan's supposed to is Daniel Bryan something like he from LA?
He sound like he from Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, that's funny. He actually do sound like he from LA. Yeah, he sound like he from LA. Because a lot of people from California migrated to Seattle. That's why. I guess it's cheaper. I don't know. I ain't been to Seattle yet.
They got tired of the heat. Like, let's go to the rain.
Every damn day. I would be depressed. But
Yeah, that's why Eddie Vedder's music sucks because he lives in Seattle. I mean, shit.
So Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Vedder. We did this months ago.
Eddie Vedder and fucking Bat and No Talent. They're a great tag team.
Go ahead, get your shit off. I'm just listening. That's why I keep looking away.
I'm just joking, but no, all right. Because
I
told you I had some because Fast 9 were less than 3 weeks away. I had 4 Fast and the Furious tag teams. The obvious, Dom and Brian. The Buster brought me back. They cut me out of handcuffs.
Handcuffs. Why you bring the Buster here?
Hey, Dom, why'd you bring the Buster here? He's just like, and when we do that commentary, when Vin Diesel turns around, because the bus, like he's fucking Brando and fucking on the waterfront, like they're again.
Give it a beat. Acting ASAP. That man did a full 180 turn like he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Just like
Buster.
I mean,
imagine him. I'll tell you a secret. Vin Diesel, bro.
Oh, because it would start like that. It'd be like, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." Like,
I live my life 1 mile at a time,
quarter mile at a time. Yeah, but I mean, obviously that they reunited Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast 6, and of course Furious 7 at the end, the tearful goodbye, all that. But obviously, so they were the quintessential tag team of that franchise. We got Hobbs and Shaw, which is supposed to like be the new face of the new tag team going forward because Vin Diesel and The Rock don't want to be tag partners. But Hobbs and Shaw again have the whole back and forth of like bald guys. One's big, one's small, one's British, one's Samoan. Apparently he's Samoan now, even though he was calling Vin Diesel boy.
He's Samoan light. We'll just say that. You better leave The Rock alone, bro. He was on his eyes, he was on the calluses on his hands. Yo, the motherfucking hands are huge.
Well, I mean, when you grip that needle to stick it in your ass, of course you're gonna have.
It don't matter. He gonna grip your goddamn neck. Pause.
Roman Pierce and Brian O'Connor, obviously, Too Fast, Too Furious. You fight like shit. You still fight like shit when they're fighting on the dirt on the outside the track and the whole. You like flipping off while they're driving. We hungry. Don't worry about cuh. Like obviously, that's us in another life.
That's us now. Every time I say something.
That too. And then the fourth one I came up with was obviously Dom and the Dodge Charger, which he somehow continues to bring back to life. It's legit like Mick Foley and Terry Funk. Like there's some age between them, and he was just like, Come on, Terry. You know you still got some fight. And he's like, all right, I'm coming out there. Shit, come on. That Dodge Charger is Terry Funk. Like, I got no knees.
Side note, I gotta talk about that real quick. The funniest thing. Well, hell, Mick, why don't you just jump off the cage?
Why don't you just jump off the? Come on, Cack. Because he would call him Cack instead of. Hell, oh my God, Mick.
Well, you don't need to use the adjective. Cactus is pretty short, but all right, Terry.
Yeah. Well, I don't give a fuck. You dumb son of a bitch. I'm Terry Funk.
Apparently not.
What? But yeah, I mean, who else would you do that? I mean, obviously there was Tej and Roman kind of more now within the last few because they're back and forth with Tej.
And they go into space.
And they're going to space together, obviously. But then again, there was the whole like, I hate you, Tej. But who out of those four pairings, which do you think is the quintessential Fast and Furious pairing? Is obviously Brian and Dom?
No, it's got to be Brian and Roman, bro.
Brian and Roman. Okay.
Like it was like, fuck it. We'll get to my next selection so it correlates. It's like LeBron and D-Wade, bro. Like this is their first time teaming, and besides the Olympics. So in a sense, it's like
and it was in Miami too.
See, the multiverse always works. Yeah. It's like, dude, this is their first time introducing Roman Pierce to the franchise. Well, because it's the second movie, but still, no backstory. It's like, we grew up together. Like, where did y'all grow up together?
In Barstow.
Yeah,
so he's like, you could take your ass. He's like, you could take your ass back to Barstow. He's like, I ain't going back to Barstow.
I'm going back to Barstow. No. As a person that's been through Barstow many a times, you do not want to go back there. Ain't shit out there. You go through Barstow to get to LA or go through Barstow to get to Vegas. That's it.
And again, like the whole point of why Too Fast and Furious exists is because Vin Diesel wasn't coming back for that second one. So they were like, all right, we got Paul Walker. We'll give him a new tag team partner. It's just like, so-and-so got injured. We'll put in a new guy.
Yo, imagine in an alternate universe, it was Vin Diesel. I mean, not Vin Diesel, it was Roman Pierce. That would be fucking hilarious. It'd be Roman. I can't imagine that, bro.
Well, don't forget, really, Dom's Roman Pierce is Han. Because, like, where do they link up originally? We see them in kind of in South America for the opening of Fast and Furious, but that's supposed to be like they've worked together before, apparently. Because then Fast 5 happens, Fast 6. Dom goes to Tokyo because that's where Han last was. But, like, So which of those pairings do you like? Oh, you just said Brian. Even though Vin and Dom and Han, I would have liked to. If that was the third one. If it was instead of fucking Lucas Black, it was Dom and Han in Tokyo.
Coming soon. I feel like all this is going to correlate into one thing. Trust me.
More than likely, yeah. But
the multiverse. The race for that, bro, that's crazy though. That Charger dude come back. He keep respawning that damn Charger.
That's what I'm saying. He's really like the tag team partner, like the break glass in case of emergency tag team partner. It was like when Roman Reigns needed a tag team partner and the Undertaker showed up. It was like, God damn, ain't you dead already? Like, fuck.
It's like, yo, he keep bringing that shit back with one screwdriver. One screwdriver, bro. That shit keep coming back.
That Dodge Charger's family.
And that goddamn house came back too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Jason Statham blew up their house, and they're like, "Hey, thanks for coming to the barbecue." Like, the fuck?
Like family rebuild this house, bro. I mean, it ain't the biggest of houses, but still, bro. That's all. First of all, if that were to happen in real life in that area, every house would be affected. Like it just affected that one house.
Well, first of all, Johnny Tran shot up the house, and then the FBI were looking. Then the FBI were looking at the house when Dom returned in Fast and Furious. Then they had to go on the run, so the house basically becomes fucking like no one lives there. It's a vacant house. It's got weeds. It's boarded up. Then they buy it back, and then it gets blown up
for 2 pesos.
And now they're living on a farm. So, like, what was the point of having the house if you're living on a farm now?
It's a damn shame the houses came back more than the Batcave in the Batman movies, bro. Because as soon as Wayne Manor gets broken down. Okay. That's it.
It's also like how the Star Trek J.J. Abrams movies, that the reboot franchise, the Enterprise always got blown up or crashed or whatever. Like that happened in like all 3 of them. It's like, guess what? The Enterprise, Captain, she's fallen. Like we put it. All the time. It's not gonna make it. Yeah, it's like.
And they keep bringing it back. Like we just got them in the bag. Go pick it up. Like this shit is a PS4.
But all right, so you said Dwayne Wade and LeBron. So you're obviously saying that tag team because again, Chris Bosh, Chris Bosh is Gangrel. Like we know you were the third guy, but like Edge and Christian is where it was at.
He might be Terry Reynolds, and it's Jeff and Matt Hardy.
Ooh, okay.
Because remember, they was going stupid. I mean, they've always gone crazy. Obviously, now they really went crazy because these motherfuckers don't know how to go home. But in 99, when they had that crazy ladder match from then to like 02, 03, it's like, or he could be leader. Chris Bosh could be leader in a sense. It's like they always had that one figure there. That's like, all right, it gives them some type of assistance. But
yeah, because obviously LeBron is Jeff Hardy. He's the better of the two. And Dwayne Wade stayed in Miami. Well, tried to kind of stay in Miami. And then went back just like Matt Hardy and Lita kept together back and forth in a way.
If you want to go that metaphorical, absolutely. I wasn't thinking that deep into it, but you're absolutely right.
But what other basketball ones did you have besides that? Because obviously those two, that whole first year was great because they had the full touchdown pass alley-oop. They had the famous alley-oop with like the hands in the air, like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious when he wins the race. Or it's like winning's winning. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. That was Dwayne Wade after that alley-oop. He was like, it doesn't matter how many guys you have on this team. We're winning. And then JJ Reyes was like locking LeBron James up.
Yeah, that's different. We need 30 for 30 for that alone.
JJ Reyes was like, and then like knocking the ball out of LeBron. Just like,
LeBron is 6'10", JJ Barrell 5'2". Somebody going to explain that shit in the future. That was literally 10 years ago, which is crazy. Besides them, basketball-wise, I have Shaq and Kobe.
Okay. Obviously the famous.
Basketball.
And again, what? Yeah, the famous Shaq and Kobe duo. And then one guy was already a star in Shaq, and one guy the star to look out for in Kobe. And again, what happened? That's the ultimate, like when a tag team breaks up, is Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, and they went their separate ways, but they still won.
And they were still, so that's thing, like, so it's like they needed each other, but they also didn't need each other.
Damn,
because
I
Kobe
like
went on
Jeff
to win 2
Hardy and
titles.
Matt Hardy.
No, because again, what's Jeff Hardy's biggest, like, is Jeff Hardy? I mean, is Matt Hardy winning the ECW title or the Impact title? Shaq winning in Miami?
Yeah, and then he just stayed around too long. He went to Cleveland.
Is fair. That's fair enough. Yeah. He went to Phoenix, Cleveland, Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, when his foot got shot and he had to retire with the Celtics.
I mean, a basketball one I had, it was probably one of my favorites from childhood. It was really early on in my fandom. Was obviously Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they didn't win anything, but they just had the vibe, the aesthetic. Then they both had the cornrows. Then they both got the shaved head at the same time. They both had that. So again, it was big, small. And they just kind of it was like if you had shrunk Carmelo Anthony, you would have got Allen Iverson. Like that, just the way they looked, their chemistry. And again, they didn't win. It sucks that the year they went to the West Finals is the year they traded Iverson halfway through for Chauncey Billups. That's the shitty part because but I remember just one night in my childhood vividly, I put on I think it was Denver versus Utah, just to watch Carmelo Anthony and Ash. And again, they were wearing those classic Nuggets alternates, the really dark blue ones, which are
the one I said. Me and my guy was talking about the podcast. We said that shit went platinum in the hood.
Yeah. But definitely then are those two. It's a shame. It's a shame they did it because that's the thing with the NBA. You and I spoke about this before. If Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter had stayed in Toronto together, would they have been a great duo? Would that if we knew that Tracy McGrady was going to turn into the one that he did in Orlando and Vince Carter stayed where he was at, I think if Allen Iverson had gotten to Denver sooner, would have worked out. Who knows?
I don't know, bro. Because it's one thing in that mid 2000s when that happened in 06. It was kind of the Western Conference was kind of, I wouldn't say abysmal, but it was kind of everybody on the team had one player that was probably good and everybody else was all right, except for the Rockets because they had T-Mac and Yao Ming.
And San Antonio had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Maggio. They had the well-rounded team where
yeah. But they was
Phoenix was switching pieces with Steve Nash. It was after they got Steve Nash.
Yeah, but everybody kind of knew they weren't going to the finals, so they weren't built for the finals just based off defense because they had Amari Stoudemire. I think Joe Johnson was still there at that point, and Steve Nash. But somebody got to play defense. Yeah. And somebody got to stay in front of Tim Duncan, and good luck to that because nobody has ever bodied Tim Duncan. He went body Shaq, which is crazy. Ben Wallace has body Shaq. God bless. I think Mark Eden bodied Shaq a couple times too. But nobody's ever bodied Tim Duncan, ever.
Another basketball one I had, and this is on the college level, again, 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, is John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, before he was Boogie at Kentucky. Both freshmen. What?
Yeah, they had Patrick Patterson on that team as well, right?
That's what I mean. I know, they try to make it the big three with Patrick Patterson. I was no one cares about the guy that's already been there. They care about these two young guys coming in, the two freshmen who are obviously going to be top 5 picks coming in. John Wall was the number 1 prospect, and Avery Bradley was number 2, which was fucking crazy to think about. That it was on scouts. It was John Wall, then Avery Bradley. Who the what the fuck?
Yeah.
But John Wall with his bicolor sleeve, white on one side, blue on the other, and DeMarcus Cousins again before he was Boogie. And they lost to West Virginia in that March Madness tournament. Is they went. I had to look it up because I'm I think they went fucking crazy. They went 35-3 in the regular season, which is yeah. It's unfortunate that like that's the Kentucky team that didn't win the title. Had to be the Anthony Davis team, which is like, but
No, but we knew that was a given. Yeah. I think he's still in the league, by the way.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist?
Yeah, I think he's still in the league.
I think you might be right.
It's crazy. 10 years. Him. I think it'll be 10 years next year. Him and AD been in the league for 10 years. That shit don't even seem that long.
I don't know. Tell that to Anthony Davis's injury history.
You want me to go on the rant? I don't want to go on the rant about Anthony.
No, go on a rant. I gotta go somewhere. I'll be right back. Go on a rant. Just kill some time.
All right, man. He just needs some Flintstone vitamins. That's all I can really say about that. Otherwise than that, I'll just basically talk about, if we're gonna keep it at a college level, Michael Jordan and James Worthy on that UNC team. I think Kenny Smith was on that team as well, but definitely that duo when they won the title. Let's see, Michael Jordan, James Worthy. That was a good run. Who else was a pretty good duo in college basketball? I could just think about that for the most part. Because in football, I don't know if I can use Mark Sanchez as far as like USC with Mark Sanchez and Reggie Bush. I don't know. I wouldn't use that. I'm more so stay with basketball, but I'm trying to look up when James Worthy and Michael Jordan played on that UNC team and what year that was, because I swore they won a national title as well when Dean Smith, God bless, was the coach at the time. 1982, because they played with Sam Perkins as well, so I might be able to add that. Was an integral piece of we had that. Shit. Let me see what I can do as far as, because in the NBA, most times than not, everybody is kind of like, all right. It's like more. It's like it's not duos. It's more so like big three, so to speak, in the NBA. It's how you most of the time get a championship. So like Shaq, that's why I think more so Shaq and Kobe are more prominent as a duo than it will be with John Stockton and Karl Malone.
That's what I was about to say. Is that do duos win more often than trios? Because again, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, but was Dennis Rodman better as a third man to Horace Grant to make that trio better? Because people will say right now that just in terms of recency, that the Clippers duo of Paul George and Kawhi, look what it's not accomplishing, versus the trio of whatever Denver has, that could be their trio, or fucking winning as a team as compared to winning just two guys. Two guys can't do it like how they used to, where he'll only get you so far. In the 90s, two guys is what got you there.
Right, because like I was cutting a promo when you left for a second. So
no, I heard you though. I heard you.
Yeah, that 1981, 1982 team that the Tar Heels had, Sam Perkins was an integral piece, and they won a national title in '82. But he was like a focal point as well on that team. So that's why, going back to what you just said, in the NBA, I can't think. Yeah, because even after Elgin Baylor left, they had Gail Goodrich for that Laker team with Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. But before it was Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and Wilt Chamberlain. Then Elgin Baylor retired when they finally won the title, and Gail Goodrich was a big part of that team. So in the NBA, I can't think of just because Jordan needed Pippen, but then they also had Dennis Rodman. But then after that, they also had before Horace Grant. So it's kind of like you might need that quote unquote big three in the NBA to really win. And then you have the others.
But is it also putting too much emphasis on the third person? Like, would that third person be a one or two on another team? Like, that's what also I'm trying to say. It's like, would Manu Ginobili be? Because again, like the dynamic duo for San Antonio would be David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. But then they always begin Ginobili just as integral. But if Ginobili was on another team, would he be a 1 or 2 guy? Or would he always just be that third guy still?
Depending on the team, I think he would have been multiple time. Like, I think in the NBA, he was a two-time All-Star, which is still crazy for a 6-man. But I think probably if he was in the Eastern Conference, he would have been a multiple-time All-Star. He definitely would have been a starter. He would have probably averaged like 22 or more in the Eastern Conference. So for that system, he's definitely going to be the third man. Like, Tony Parker was like Finals MVP in 07.
Yeah.
And he was on the rise all them years up until that point, and still had some key moments too, even after that. But his prime definitely was like 07. Because I remember it was a case for him being MVP of the league that year, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's what I mean. Like, yeah, that's what I meant with the whole. If Carmelo like had Allen Iverson sooner, would they had won? Like if they got Allen Iverson the year after drafting Melo, like because the whole thing about Allen Iverson is like he took that Philly team, they're on his back. And that's what made the whole like LeBron's whole career that much bigger. Is how many Eastern Conference Finals he made with Mo Williams being his primary tag team partner. It's like insane that and what they had to overcome with who the supporting cast he had, or like who was the guy that he had to rely on. Because that's what we're trying to say, like not do duos more than trios or factions, because when you just link two people up together, you really have to rely on the other person just as much as yourself. That's the whole like, are you a Genetti? Because what are some tag team, like the tag teams for wrestling I'm going to pick are more of like just two people randomly thrown together, because I always liked those tag teams. I think those tend to work well because they're two great individuals that are now just kind of killing time but dominating in a way. And they either have similar styles or they're completely different. That's what we'll get to. But like in sports, basketball more often than not, do you need to have like the star shooting guard or forward and then the star center? Like, do you need the Tracy McGrady out? Because again, that just injuries is what killed that. Like if they were both healthy, could they had won something in that time period where it was like there was no pure dominant team. It's the post Shaq Kobe era, pre-Big Three era. I know San Antonio was the one really running it, but still, that was it because they had three, and kind of David Robinson then as the fourth to like win in that time. And Detroit got there with one of us would be the tag team partner. That's the thing, like, or not even that. They all would be the Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman.
Right. So it's kind of like now. It's kind of like now in the Western Conference, especially because LeBron is getting older and it showed this season, mind you, a shortened season. It's like now people are trying to figure out who's coming out the West. And this is kind of like what it's going to be the next couple of years. You know what I mean? Just because I don't think LeBron is going to recover from the ankle injury and he's getting older. So It's like now you got Paul George and Kawhi, but like you said, it's kind of like, how do you have that third member just because Paul George is inconsistent? Your tag team partner is inconsistent. It's like, well, damn, I got to do all the spots.
Do all the work. Yeah, it's Matt Hardy. Like, Jeff Hardy's like, I got to do all the jumping off the ladders. You just got to go and fucking grab the belts.
Yeah, you just save me time to get some air. And that's essentially what's going on. So if we're talking about an NBA sense, yeah, it's just Paul George and Kawhi. That's what's going on right now.
Because I heard you say Mark Sanchez again. Mark Sanchez is after Reggie Bush. So that USC team, would it be Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, or would it be Reggie Bush, Lendell White? Because again, it was Thunder and Lightning. Really, Reggie Bush did all the work to get upfield. Lendell White punched it in at the goal line because he had the strength to just fucking hit stick everyone to get to the end zone. But Reggie Bush, if you don't have Reggie Bush zigzagging all over the field from the 20-yard line to the other 20-yard line, Lendell White's strengths are kind of like weakened. And that's where that works in the football sense, because I was trying to think of some football ones. Obviously, there's like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and then Steve Young, Jerry Rice. But like that, quarterbacks, wide receivers are pretty easy. And the wide receiver tandems of like Randy Moss and late Chris Carter. And late period Chris Carter, not late, like he passed away. Like later in his career, Chris Carter.
With Dante Culpepper as well.
And then Randall Cunningham, when they used that thing like their quarterbacks. Well, and that's the unfortunate thing about Barry Sanders is that he didn't have a star receiver or star quarterback to alleviate the stress of like having to carry the team, because it got something where football, like the ultimate team sport in that is like every guy literally has to do their job. Basketball, 2 guys can kind of carry the load for the other 12. And that's the same thing with baseball too. I was trying to think, because again, like the whole Bash Brothers thing, McGuire, Sosa just hitting home runs, and then the Giants got Jeff Kent to pair with Barry Bonds, and they were doing the same thing, but they lost in 2002. And it's like, unfortunately, like the Atlanta Braves, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, that's a trio, but they were all all-star pitchers in the fucking starting rotation. So that just kind of varies because it's 2 different sides to, like, I guess like Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis would be a good tag team on the defense because they're going both linebackers, just that kind of vibe. But
yeah, because you can go either Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez as well.
See, I think that's a tag team. I think that's something that people would want to make a tag team, but it's like the exact opposite. Those are 2 guys that didn't want to be a tag team.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, all right, so can we transition to who is, if we talk about wrestling, because I think everybody else for the most part is just wrestling. It transitions to probably one of my favorite it's not probably, it's one of my favorite tag teams ever, being a Rock and Sock Connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you talked about how they just kind of put somebody together, it's like, I don't know the backstory behind that, and you probably know. Like, who decided?
No,
you know what?
I would just assume it was probably that Stone Cold's going to be the top guy. Rock's got all this momentum. Let's have him do something interesting. And like Mick Foley was probably trying to take it easy and not do all the crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's build up Rock as a good guy by pairing him with the person that everyone likes, and Mick Foley, Mankind. I think that was probably what is more so than anything. Like, let's make sure that if Rock can really be the next Austin instead of the rival, let's have him do something that can show it. Even though the ultimate thing was like he was still a dick to Mick Foley with the, all right, up top, and then Mick Foley, and they'd be like, take it back, like, oh, he got me again. Like, oh, keep falling for it. Like,
bro, when I play those promos in my head, bro, I always laugh. It's like, I remember those vividly, bro. Like when he had them, like,
the whole "This Is Your Life."
Didn't he have him like doing something with some shit, like picking up, like cleaning up something, dog shit or something like that? Yeah, because they going through it on a British Bulldog, so he had him like, yeah, Mankind doing it.
But yeah, I think it was probably something that was maybe more. I wouldn't be surprised if like a writer just pitched it of like, hey, like let's have The Rock showcase another side of himself. Like let's not have him be the arrogant prick all the time. Let's have him be like the arrogant prick with a heart of gold, because he's teaming with this guy who obviously he's like, oh god, this guy's gonna, like, the guy that you beat with a steel chair 18 times, you're now like tagging with. Which is the funny thing in wrestling, is that when enemies become tag partners is always funny to me.
Well, just like you said with Fast and Furious, everything is wrestling.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like in the Rock and Sock, you couldn't find 2 polar opposites, and that's what kind of makes it good. Like that's what I mean. Like in tag teams, do you like 2 people that aren't the same, or do you like 2 people who mimic each other?
Aren't the same, because you know what I mean. Like you got Bart Gunn in them. What's the name of that tag team?
Billy Gunn, the Smoking Guns.
The Smoking Guns. You got that. That's kind of like the same. So the perfect.
No, I'm saying that's starting out the same. All right, so that's fair enough too. Yeah, when people start out with the exact same look and then end up breaking off, but like they paired, like the New Age Outlaws. I mean, in a way, like they paired them together and they acted the same, but they were different guys before.
Exactly. So it's that, and then, but in this whole analogy, the acolytes, like the acolytes acted the same, but then you got Ron Simmons and JBL.
Yeah,
2 totally different people, but they had one common goal in mind.
How are they 2 different people? One of them is Ron Simmons, the other is a racist piece of shit.
Exactly. You got JBL. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how that works. I don't know how they work, but it's probably just because at that point, Ron Simmons is just older, always been a professional. He like, I'm gonna do the job. I don't give a damn. I gotta just do the job.
Yeah, he was like, I don't give a damn. And Vince was like, damn, I like the way you said that.
because if you haven't too, by the way, watch Charles Wright, his government name, The Godfather. He's on. The only reason why I never, because they kept calling him, because
No, I know his name is Charles Wright, but you said like you didn't even be like watch The Godfather, aka Charles Wright. You put government name first to be, and then The Godfather, Papa Shango, Kama Musafa.
Yeah, because it's like they kept. He said his name over. I mean, obviously they talked about the other characters real quick on that Smoke a Skull session, but it's just like he kept saying his name, so it's kind of like, and I just watched it yesterday, so it's kind of like I'm just programmed to say his name now, but you know him as those characters.
Yeah,
me more so from our era of The Godfather, but he just kept saying that. Then it's just funny how he did the impression of Vince McMahon, and he'd be like, Charles, this is what we're gonna do. So it's in my head.
Yeah, Vince McMahon. I think because Vince McMahon likes the name Charles, he would call him Charles just because he likes. I like saying Charles. It's a great name. You got a great name, Charles. I'm like,
exactly. So it's one of those things, man. And yeah, it's like he talked about how Ron Simmons would just tell him. He would just tell him certain things. Everybody always says he's like a father figure, so to speak. Because he's a vet at that point. So it's kind of like maybe with Ron Simmons, he's like, bruh, I know this motherfucker racing. But I gotta get this money. I work with him.
Oh, in terms of the APA? The acolytes?
Yeah. It's probably just like, bruh, I know, but it's like, it's just like at a job. It's like, bro, like, I know this motherfucker like this, but I gotta work with them. I don't know how cool they are, but still.
Yeah. I would say that they're cool in the extent of like, not that Ron Simmons let shit slide, but like it's been 20 something years. That's just who he is. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that because they obviously had to ride together too. That's before the buses. That's when they had to rent the cars from the airport and get to the town and do whatever they need to do and do the flight. So obviously you spend a lot of time with somebody like that, especially if they a tag team, and then that's when you got to rent the hotels together and all that shit. So
yeah,
the old days, as they say. Now they get their own hotels, I think.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so I was coming up with a tag team, kind of like Venn diagram of like two guys in particular that teamed together, but also had great partners outside of each other, and that was Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio. I thought they were great as a tag team in late 04, early 05 before they lost the titles, but Rob Van Dam had partnered with Sabu. Again, their whole dynamic was self-centered ego, stoner Rob Van Dam, and Sabu, who was deathmatch, didn't say shit, who's homicidal, suicidal, genocidal. It's like, again, Coach Alfonso with his fucking whistle as their manager. God damn, I hate that whistle. Again, the great match at Heat Wave. The great match at Heat Wave with Jinsei Shizaki and Hayabusa.
Classic.
And then Rob Van Dam, and also their early part of 04, partners with Booker T. I remember that's when I was starting to watch Wrestling Weekly. They had just ended, but I always remember the match they had against Batista and Ric Flair of Evolution on the 2004 draft. Great tag match where they lose the belts to Batista and Ric Flair. But just seeing, because I had watched WrestleMania 20 the month prior, and like Booker T hits the scissor kick, Rob Van Dam comes off the top rope with a 5-star fox thrust. I'm like, that's how tag team wrestling. Oh, I'm like, in my mind, like, oh, if they're not gonna have the same gear, you're gonna have something that compensates each other. Like, my move is gonna set up your move, that type of shit. Like, Booker T hit the book and Rob Van Dam does the Rolling Thunder type of shit. Like, it, same thing. Like, two great mid carders paired together, I think always makes a good tag team. And then Rey Mysterio on his side, he partnered with Eddie Guerrero. After partnering with Rob Van Dam, they had their short reign before they lost to Eminem. But again, they have the iconic photo of them in the lowrider, and they obviously their history of rivals over the cruiserweight title, and then partnering up together in WWE. And then Rey Mysterio Batista, that could have been something. I know it was mainly just post Eddie Guerrero's passing, but big, strong guy, small, high flying little guy, and they had the tag team titles for a little bit as well. But yeah, my whole point is that I always liked Rob Van Dam and RVD just because it seemed like 619 sets up the 5-star frog splash. Work together if you're not going to come in as a team together, like you said, like the Smoking Guns, any tag team that WWE always brought in before they broke the people up to make them single stars. Like,
So Rey Mysterio might be one of the greatest tag team champions of all time.
See, now he's got his son. Remember, I also liked when they were going to try to make him and Sin Cara a tag team, and they each had the half masks of each other. That kind of looked dumb, but also cool. But yeah, I think they had that him and Evan Bourne had that great match against Miz and Morrison in 08. They could have been a good team together. I have someone that'll go similar so here are the three reigns that John Cena, the GOAT, had as tag champion. He had it with fucking Shawn Michaels, just because they were doing the build to WrestleMania 23. Him and Batista had it because they were just trying to do the build to SummerSlam. But I was like so stoked. I'm like, oh my god, Batista and John Cena are tag champs. So I was like, oh my god, like amazing, because those were two of my favorites. And you think of WrestleMania 21, both champions on the same night. They were both trying to be the faces of the company. And then you have John Cena and David Otunga. But like, I want to bring it back to how we started the show talking about John Cena. Like, who could have been a good tag team partner for John Cena if for a while he had to be in the tag team scene?
Hey, that's probably why he allegedly had him buried. They probably was gonna put him with Alex Riley.
I knew it.
That's probably why. Because what other reason you upset at Alex Riley?
I think maybe because Alex Riley's taller, again, good-looking guy from the East. I think he was from Boston or from New York, something like that. He went to Boston College, I think. Yeah, so I think John Cena he was Kill Bill, like when he saw Alex Riley, he was like dun 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 dun, like, oh no, I gotta stop this shit.
No, we could have got R-Truth and John Cena. That would have been fire.
That actually would have been good. Yeah, I think that would have been good, especially 2009 when John Cena kind of had like right at the because again, R-Truth shows up in 2008, fall of 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that early part of 2009 where John Cena is just feuding with Big Show and Edge. Ugh, God. Again, like I said, Big Show never makes anything good. And the Big Show's partners were Kane, The Undertaker, fucking him and Mark Henry. The Unholy Alliance.
That's one of my favorite tag teams. Yeah, that's one of my favorite tag teams ever. But you know why? It's not just because they was dominating. The whole point of that tag team, you know the backstory, right?
Wasn't it because Big Show wasn't losing weight, or they wanted Undertaker show him like how to be a big guy in WWE and all that? Like have Mark Calloway teach Paul White how to be a vet.
It's three reasons. So the first two, and then apparently this is why Steve Blackman did the leg sweep on him.
Oh, here it goes.
It always goes back to Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman is the Ray J of wrestling, bro. It always comes back.
That's the name of the episode. Steve Blackman and Ray J.
It always comes back, bro. Full circle, bro.
You saw real quick. You saw that, yeah? Because I saw you retweet it. The Ray J is what the inception of Hit 'Em Up comes from Ray J. And again, shouts to Graham because I picked Vince Staples, he picked Ray J, and fucking CJ Jizz had picked Snoop Dogg. So shouts to Public Enemies.
Always.
But damn, I saw that yesterday, and I immediately, and just same thing, like shouts to Flag Variant X and Van. On my YouTube recommends, it shows Timothy Elephant's mom thinks he looks like Josh Duhamel, and I was like, no fucking way. Like, this is not even a week after we did that episode. I'm seeing this.
All y'all point to each other. All y'all point to each other like the Spider-Man meme. Yeah. That's all three of y'all, and Zack Snyder somewhere in the back.
He's drawing it like, oh, okay, like a storyboard.
Yeah, all four of y'all. Somehow that movie's gonna come out. It's gonna be Gemini Man 2.
Because they had the one match together in 2015, but then Daniel Bryan had to take some time off because when they did Daniel Bryan and John Cena against Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, I wouldn't have been mad if the rest of the year John Cena and Daniel Bryan teamed up as the Mr. Bellas. That would have been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to that. So the reason why that happened,
Steve Blackman.
well, that he sweep the leg, but it was one of those things. He wouldn't get in shape. He had to learn how to work in the WWE style, and then he was in the backstage talking shit. Because remember in WCW, he was over, so he was back there like feeling like he didn't have to earn his way. So you see them times where Undertaker used to paintbrush him. He used to legit slap the shit out of him. Apparently that was a shoot. Because remember, it used to be crazy like during the match, especially at SummerSlam. Was that 98 or 99?
99.
Yeah, with X-Pac versus Kane. Man, I remember he came out the ropes because remember he had Big Show just have the match by himself. I think it was like a handicap, even though it was like an actual tag match. He'd be like, man, you go in there. I don't want to do shit. And then I think like Big Show came out the ring like upset. He just slapped the shit out of him.
He's always upset, that big bitch. Again, my statement that Big Show ruins everything is accurate when you watch that weigh-in between Cody and Anthony Ogogo when he was like, can't even work the fucking scale. And he's like, Cody Rhodes is 218. And it's just like, can you fucking talk regular? Like, god damn, Paul.
Well,
just like, shut the fuck up or just...
He's sad.
But he's trying to scream and he's sweating, and I'm just like, I know it's Florida, but damn, like.
Yeah, that goes without saying. But he's fucking fat. That's why. He's always.
But speaking of Kane, so Kane had obviously Undertaker, X-Pac, RVD, the fucking Hurricane, Daniel Bryan, and the Big Show. Which of those partners was the weirdest fit with Kane?
Damn, it might be RVD, but it always worked with him.
Because
like,
I've seen you watch that.
Work.
Yeah, if you watch that Icons of RVD, it's just like RVD's like, yeah, man, he's Matt Riddle with Randy Orton, like, bro, like, come on, and Randy Orton's like,
oh, future tag champions, by the way.
RV, oh, of course, that's RK, bro. That's a given, yeah.
I don't want to see that shit, but yeah, so it's definitely more so RVD. Because the X-Pac one was fucking hilarious. That's when Kane was, what's her name? Tori Runners or whatever?
No, just Tori. Not Tori Wilson, just Tori. Yeah.
Suck it.
Suck it. And it's like, break it down.
That shit was cold, bro.
Yeah, he did like the fire and the crotch chop fireworks at the same time. It was like...
That shit was turned up, especially as a kid, bro.
That's when your grandma came like, what the hell are you watching? Well, she probably wouldn't say hell, but she was like, what are you watching? And you were like, it's Kane and X.
She would say hell. She used to cuss more than me, bro. How I cuss now, she used to cuss way more. That's where I learned it from.
Big on RVD and them. So take it back to like ECW, like the Eliminators. Again, they were the exact same, and they were great. The Pit Bulls. Again, it was the Pit Bull. It was Gary Wolf and then Pitbull number 2. The bald one, like, they didn't say he had a name. He was just Pitbull 2. I was like, that doesn't make sense, but that's kind of cool. Even though you could clearly tell, like, them apart because Gary Wolf had the long hair. The Pitbull 2 was bald.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, ECW, like, I think Tag Team Wrestling was their whole thing. Like, they had the Dudleys, obviously. And who would they just pair up? Like, they paired up Taz and Sabu, and that led to their, like, whole story. And again, like, how 2 guys... Nothing in common. I mean, WCW had, because again, they shared most of like LOD, Road Warriors, Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, the Steiner brothers.
Oh, they're on my list as well.
Oh yeah. Speaking on the Steiners, give me a fucking mic.
What? Scott Steiner versus Mike. I mean, his tag team partner is Mike, not versus, but Scott Steiner and the microphone is his tag team partner.
That is, oh yeah, you're 100%. Scott Steiner in Steroids. That's the real tag team partner, not pro wrestling. Scott Steiner.
Yeah, but I listen. I think the microphone benefited more because we have so many great soundbites, and without the microphone, we wouldn't be able to hear it.
I got 24% chance of winning. You divide that by 8, and you add his 15 to mine. And that's an underrated tag team. Little PD Pump and Big Papa Pump. because Petey Williams is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm just here to get paid.
Little
Like,
P. Bro, I haven't heard that name in years. That's hilarious, bro. His little nickname, he was swole.
and Petey Williams told it on like Cole Cabana's podcast that because he would ride with Scott Steiner. He's like, Scott, you know, what do you want to go to eat? He's like, Cracker Barrel. Like, I want to go to Cracker Barrel.
He said he was in a Cadillac doing 100 down a one-way street. It's right there.
And probably what makes probably the Steiners the greatest tag team of all time in terms of like accolades is the promo they cut on Team 3D when Bubba Ray was like, Scott, I respect you. He's like, shut up. You called yourselves world champions when you were wrestling in bingo halls in Philadelphia. Yep. We went to Japan, Mexico. That's the world. And Bubba's like, no, I understand. He's like, shut up. I'm talking. He's like, you were world champions. We were world champions. And Rick Steiner is just like, this is what I've had to deal with my whole life.
Yeah, I want to know, was he always that way? Because, you know, Rick is always for the
100%. 100%. It was probably like after a while. Like, I think the business amplified it, but Scott was probably always like, fuck yeah. Look at my mullet. Fuck yeah. Like,
and Rick probably was like, man, listen. Because he the older one, right?
Yeah. And again, he's where the name comes. And like, again, his name is Rick Steiner because their last name was Rick Steiner. So like,
that makes so much sense now. Just because he be too cool, it's like having a little brother. Like, all right, bro. All right, go out there and talk all that shit.
And again, part of like tag team wrestling is relatives, brothers, the Usos, especially Usos post brand split in 2016, where they become Uso Penitentiaries day one-ish. No offense to them early on. They were good. They just had good matches. But when they, start rocking the cargo joggers and the Air Force Ones.
Them ain't no Air Force Ones, but all right. Them is feelers.
I think they are now. They look different. Yeah, they don't.
You can't spam the super kick button in Air Force Ones, bro. You gonna bust your foot.
Obviously, they've been the best tag team of the last 5 years. But again, Lucha Bros, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon, great tag team. And relatives in a way, Chavo and Eddie Guerrero, Los Guerreros. Again, that's uncle and nephew.
You said in a way, I was like, that's his nephew.
No, I'm saying like relatives. Like I'm saying like, but if you're not gonna be brothers, you either have to be like cousins or uncle nephew. Again, like Carlito Primo, they were brothers, and then Primo Epico, they were cousins. Like,
and then Roman Reigns is uncle to the Usos.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole point, like, also like what makes a good tag team is like if like they always like they've known each other since birth, or they grew up together, so they know each other. So what they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. I'm trying to think of like what's the other one.
When you gonna start telling people that you watch Kerry Von Erich matches?
Never. I've never seen a Kerry Von Erich match.
Why?
No, never. I was almost gonna watch the one match of him and Ric Flair where he wins the title, but I was just like,
No, you don't like wrestling. That's wrestling. Drop toe holds, hammer locks. That's all that.
What are some other because that's the whole thing about the Dudleys is that they're not brothers, but it's still hilarious that they were supposed to be half brothers or whatever they were.
Big
Same thing, Undertaker Kane. Again, they're not Edge and Christian. They're not brothers. Yeah,
I thought they were.
That's funny. Like Edge and Christian look like they should be brothers, and the Hardys look like they shouldn't be.
Yeah. Damn, they don't look alike. Well, yeah, they don't look alike. That's crazy. They same mom, same dad.
Yeah, but God, it was. But so, what kind of promotion do you think had the best tag teams? Like I was trying to name off some ECW ones. WCW again, they kind of shared. They had Harlem Hegan brothers as well. Booker T, CB Ray. Because I'm trying to say, like, don't forget, like Impact in 05 to 08, they had AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. When rivals become partners.
Hey, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, Motor City Machine Guns, bro.
Same exact thing. Rivals that become partners. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. LAX, Homicide and
One of the greatest
Hernandez.
of all time.
And I fucking hated them when they first showed up. They were killing AJ Styles. Homicide was like freaking AJ Styles like every single week.
Yeah.
They hit him with the bottles, and fucking Conan was like, LAX, people. I was just like, oh my, like leave AJ Styles alone. Like
When they got Hector, shouts out to Hector. When they got Hector, that's when that shit was
Salinas, aka Ariel, when she the vampire from Kevin Thorne.
Pressure.
Shelley Martinez was pressure.
Yeah, pressure.
But again, LAX was like the legit first tag team I hated that I then started to like. Because after I stopped feuding with AJ Styles and Chris Daniels, I'm like, okay, I like these guys now because they were feuding with everybody else.
Damn, Hector and Eddie look exactly alike. I know they brothers, but
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Compared to Chavo Classic and Eddie, yeah.
I haven't seen. Have I seen Senior? I never seen Senior. Chavo Senior.
Don't forget he managed Chavo. Remember?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They don't look. It's genetics are a weird thing. Yeah. They don't look alike.
Yeah, because you can see the resemblance in Chavo and Eddie. You can see it there. They kind of like the same similar facial features, but yeah.
A little bit. But Hector and Eddie look exactly alike.
Big on America's Most Wanted. I didn't like them, but they were a good team. James Storm and Chris Harris, the Wildcat Chris Harris. Getting Team 3D showed up. But yeah, a lot of like TNA had us slept on. Beer Money when James Storm teamed up with Robert Roode.
Then Machismo, Sanjay Dutt, they was tag team.
Oh yeah, Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, and the Guru Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah. Racist new motherfucker. The cool Sanjay Dutt.
Tyson Tomko and AJ Styles.
You're white trash. Who else? Shit, didn't who was that tag team in Main Event Mafia?
It was Booker T and Scott Steiner.
I don't remember too many matches they had. At that point, Kevin Nash was just there just for the vibes.
He was the Legends champion.
Yeah, Kevin Nash is, bro. I don't remember too many matches Kevin Nash had.
Fuck Kevin Nash. He's always there. He's not there for the vibes. He's there for the paycheck.
Yeah. And the quad tears, because I think at that point his quad was really. He was sitting down during those promos for the most part, except for that one in the ring. He was leaning over the ropes on one of them. I'm like, damn, he might be fucked up.
I can see ROH had the Briscoes with an E, the All Night Express, Kenny King and Rhett Titus. They had the American Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, and they had going to have Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. I think kind of more often than not, the Indies have probably the better work rate tag teams, but WWE always did a good job of pairing two guys together, as I was saying, like in Rock and Sock, so on. I mean, they don't forget like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels were partners for a brief second, but imagine if that actually got to go on longer. That would have been fucking crazy. Two-man power.
I mean, well, Vince don't like tag teams because when I think about it, I'm like, like that Rock and Sock connection could have went a little bit longer, but it's one of those things that we still talk about, and that was 22 years ago, so maybe it worked out the best. Because if they would have had like a 1 or 2 year run, it wouldn't probably be the same. But that shows you the level of creativity back then, and for those individuals, because it's like, bro, I remember the promos, and they only lasted like 2 months, if that.
And they were like, 3-time champions because they were switching the belts like every other week.
Yeah, which is hilarious. And for the most part, it'd be like, all right, bro. The Rock just come in when he wants to and he beating that. Like now he wouldn't leave Mankind just out there, but he's like, all right.
Yeah, I was like, I think that like the one I've seen, like he would always like walk out, walk back in. He'd show up for the hot tag. And see, that's a great thing about tag. See, like I think more often than not, tag matches can be greater than singles matches because the hot tag element, the storytelling of like the guy needing help and having to rely on someone else to oh my god, he's gonna hit the hot tag, like get him, come on, make the tag, damn it, and then breaking up the pinfalls, all that, and that's why Meltzer tends to overrate the Young Bucks because of that element. Even though I would say like prior to AEW, I thought the Young Bucks were good, but I don't think they are as good anymore. PWG Young Bucks are a different element though. ROH Young Bucks are a different element. Like that's them showing out and like
everybody's not meant to be on TV in that capacity.
Yeah,
it's too much pressure for them. You can tell because they made themselves into cornballs. It's the same thing with Kenny Omega. It's just like you a cornball because you feel like you have to do this because you're on primetime TV. If you were still on the indies, he was a cornball then, but it wasn't to this extent. So that's the problem with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, but again, like they had. I'll admit that Kenny Omega Hangman Page tag match was good, but I would say that I've seen probably better tag matches. Again, the whole Undisputed Era when it was either Roderick Strong or Bobby Fish, Team and Kyle O'Reilly, they were better tag matches to take over when they got to face Mustache Mountain, Street Profits, Broserweights. Again, another makeshift tag team that works well. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne have literally nothing in common except that they're great wrestlers.
Yeah, no, it's well, we see it now. I think Vince is just like, we don't have anything for him, put him in tag team. Obviously, with Chad Gable, your guy, and Otis being my guy.
Both of them are my guys, yeah. And again, look at it's. But again, Otis was an amateur wrestler like in high school, and I think they're kind of both from around here. They're both like from Minnesota, like surrounding states as well. So
somewhere
it's like
where it's cold.
Yeah. But it's that element of Cesaro and Sheamus. Like, neither of these guys are going to be world champion. Have them face each other, then they become a tag team. And again, what is their tag team? The Bar? Like, oh, that's dumb. Then you have them wearing jackets and skirts. No, but again, like, it worked. It ended up working, actually. Again, them doing the fucking whole fusion dance and...
We are the Bar. When the Usos said it...
We don't raise the bar. We are the Bar.
We are the Bar.
That's the matches they had with the Usos, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose,
the Bludgeon Brothers.
No! Don't you ever bring that fucking name. That team, fucking no.
That team was dope, bro.
No, are you shitting me?
I liked it, bro.
Oh God.
You just don't like Eric Rowan. Just be.
Yeah, exactly. He's horrible.
I wouldn't say that. Come on.
No, he's horrible.
That's not a good analogy. What makes him horrible? If we about to get into some real wrestler talk, we might as well.
No, I'm just saying, again, talk about a Jannetty. Luke Harper was Shawn Michaels, and Eric Rowan was definitely Marty Jannetty. Like, no way in hell Eric Rowan.
No, you tweaking.
No. Look what he's doing now. Not a goddamn thing.
He's sitting at home like everybody else. He by himself, man. He's sitting at home and probably looking at that spider in the cage. I don't know.
Oh, God. and see in tag team wrestling, the stipulation matches are better, especially ladder matches. Again, 1-on-1 is harder to have with a ladder match, but as we saw with the epic trio of Dudley's, Edge, and Christian Hardy's, and then now. When it was New Day, Lucha Dragons, and Usos, that was fucking amazing. So it makes the stipulation matches better. I'd say really only steel cage matches for tag team wrestling don't work too well, but those don't happen that often either. Hell in a Cell with New Day and Usos was great, and they don't really do that often as tag team Hell in a Cell matches. Like, I think they maybe should. It's hard to top that one.
Well, once again, with DX, they don't like tag matches though. Yeah,
DX and Legacy. Legacy had that match when it was Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. against Shawn Michaels Triple H. That one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, because it's a stipulation match with Triple H in it. So that's the only way you're going to get a good match out of him.
Well, I always liked seeing Legacy get their ass kicked, too. I fucking hate it. Oh, see, I knew I should have liked Cody Rhodes when I hated him. His skinny ass with his knee pads down to his ankles. Come on.
Bruh, wearing Zelda, and I love Zelda, but wearing Zelda boots. Goddamn.
Do you have any kind of more wrestling ones you want to get off before we switch to like movies and music and TV?
No, that's all I can really think of for the most part. When it comes to tag teams, I can't really think of too many others.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
The Impact Players. The Impact Players is one of my favorite tag teams. Justin, bro. If I could be serious for a moment, they out there with Don Marie, I think.
Yeah, it was Don Marie, yeah.
Bro, that shit was classic.
What about Elix Skipper, Christopher Daniels? Just for Elix Skipper, again, walking on top of the cage in a tag team cage match. Like,
I like Elix Skipper. He's one of my favorite workers, but I didn't like that tag team.
Just the like random, like not random, but because I don't know. Yeah, Christopher Daniels wasn't in late WCW, just Elix Skipper and AJ. Because that's why I think they kind of formed. The majority, like the people they did in TNA together, was because the work they had done. But like, yeah, LAX, both iterations. I mean, obviously they're Pride and Powerful now, Santana and Ortiz, but Homicide and Hernandez, yeah, I think I would put them on the Mount Rushmore. In terms of like one of the best things about TNA was LAX. Again, border toss.
No, absolutely.
He was just chucking fuckers out of the ring, and then Homicide. I know that's the crazy thing. Of, like, as I started learning more about wrestling, that Homicide had this like big singles career, and then he got to TNA, and they just made him a tag team guy. I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. Well, that's what they did. I mean, like when you have idiots in charge, you're gonna do idiotic shit.
Right, but it worked out in a sense. We still talking about him, but yeah, he shouldn't have had a single run. But he probably was cool with it too, because in the Indies, he had a hell of a single run.
Yeah.
And the whole point was, I'll do this because I ain't trying to go back to the Bronx. Can't go back All-Star. Man, I can't go back.
And plus with tag team wrestling too, you get the tournaments are better. Crockett Cup, Dusty Cup, PWG's DDT4 tournament, which is like the span of 2 days, one night most of the time as well. It was 2 days and they made it one night. And again, that's like they paired fucking Brian Cage and Michael Elgin, and they became the Unbreakable fucking Machines. Like they paired Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb, and they became something Bros. I forget, but PWG again, great tag team wrestling there. They paired the Inner City Machine Guns. I'll play on the Motor City Machine Guns, but yeah. For movies, I just kind of like an obvious one, really, because The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. But that's because Shane Black's strength is tag teams with Lethal Weapon, obviously, which he wrote. And then Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, same thing with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. So like the Shane Black blueprint is two people solving a crime. Bruce Willis and David Wayne's in The Last Boy Scout, because again, Shane Black also wrote that.
That's hilarious.
Samuel Jackson and Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight. So again, Shane Black's whole thing is it's two people and then their sidekick's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But The Nice Guys is, I mean, that's just a great movie. I'm not breaking ground by saying that, but it's just amazing. And again, Ryan Gosling is like the comedic part, and Russell Crowe's like the guy who beats everyone up.
Bro, that movie is funny as hell. I remember the first time I saw it, I fell asleep. Damn, halfway, I was just tired. So I rewatched it again. I was rolling. That shit was
well, the whole him in the bathroom scene, like I got a license to carry, and he drops the cigarettes like as the door keeps closing.
Ooh. That shit was funny. I was like, Ryan Gosling just need to do more comedies than anything.
True. He just needs to do a lot more in general. He's now in the space of DiCaprio, where he takes a role every year or so, if that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also like had a solid stretch where he was working, like he was having 3 movies a summer almost.
Exactly. So, hey, let me chill out. I work 16 hours a day. I'm going with Lee and Carter and Rush Hour.
Obvious, yeah.
I'm going with that. We already named Fast and the Furious. Damn, who else? David Allen Greer and Damian Wayne's man. You ever seen Blade Man?
No, I haven't. I think you've asked me about this before. I haven't.
You need to watch Blade Man tonight. Or whenever. This weekend. Watch Blade Man. Trust me. One of the greatest movies ever.
But obviously I'm gonna have a similar comp of years in Rush Hour because Mike Lowry, Marcus Burnett, Bad Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I still haven't seen Bad Boys for Life, I still haven't seen it. Part of me still doesn't want to see it as well.
It's not no rush for it. Trust me. You don't have to rush and see it.
Would you want to see Rush Hour 4?
No.
No.
I didn't want to see the third one, but I saw it.
I was gonna say like it was. I remember a couple months ago, right after NXT ended, I watched like the first 10 minutes of Rush Hour 3. I'm like, I don't remember this at all. But to be fair, I think I'd only seen it once. I really haven't seen. I really just got to run both of those back, 1 and 2.
Oh no, always.
Yeah. I remember being so confused. I saw the ending of Rush Hour once, and I was like, I recognized Jackie Chan. I'm like, is this like the live action version of Jackie Chan Adventures? I'm like, is this not the cartoon one? Because he had the little girl. I'm like, oh, is that his niece? Because again, the whole point of Jackie Chan's Adventures is him and his niece. I'm like, the way my kid mind worked somehow was to be like, oh, so this isn't the cartoon one. This must be real. And I had no idea it was Rush Hour till like a year or so later when I watched Rush Hour from start to finish. Like,
you saw Smokey from Friday.
Is that a good tag team, Smokey and Craig? Smokey and Craig or Smokey and Day-Day?
No, I was going to say, you can read my mind, Day-Day and Craig.
Okay.
It's like the 2 Stooges instead of 3.
The third is John Witherspoon.
Yeah, no. He definitely. But then in the second, remember, he wasn't really there. He was trying to get the Rancho Chunkamanga. He was trying to get there, so.
He still has the great, like, oh, Stanley.
Oh, shit, Stanley.
When he walks in, like, no, you want to go to no, you don't understand. So I gotta get in. And he was like, oh my god, like he wasn't kidding. Like,
get the fuck out of my face, Stanley.
John Witherspoon, icon.
Absolutely, God bless.
Look at him and the mom from Friday, because again they linked back up for the Wayans Brothers show, right?
Yeah, that was on my TV list though. Sean and Marlon Wayans.
Yeah. Mm.
Or Williams in the show, as they call it. They kept their first names but changed it to Williams.
See, that's always the weird thing, yeah. I mean, because they do that. They do that most of the time with a lot of TV shows where they like kept their first names but then changed the last names. Like Seinfeld's really the only one that kept it like that, and then Curb Your Enthusiasm same thing with it. But they were playing fictionalized versions of themselves compared to like.
Right.
Wouldn't it also be smart just to have them have the same last name and then their first names be changed?
But I think it works just because it's like somebody call you your first name, then you like, all right, instincts just kick in. Even on a TV show, like I know we're supposed to be playing a character, but still.
Yeah. But
it's like in wrestling now, they kind of giving people their first names now.
Yeah, that's dumb as fuck though.
Yeah, but what you gonna call Johnny Gargano? I ain't calling a grown man Johnny wrestling.
What are some other movies you had?
Call you Mr. Kick Out. Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker.
Really? Not Obi-Wan and Anakin?
Nah, because he throwing more lobs. Anakin just a bad father. Like he was throwing Luke he was throwing Luke some love and say he got
That's
up out of here.
that's no. See, that's
Anakin.
more of a mentor. The tag team partner is Han Solo and Luke, but really it's Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Yeah, but that's like a tag team right there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like Luke really doesn't have a tag team partner. That's kind of the whole thing.
No, he did. Hold on. Yeah, because he had like a whole faction behind him, essentially helping him out.
The partners were always it was always switching out. Yeah.
Well, R2D2
R2D2 and C3PO. Are they?
Well, no, R2D2 he threw Luke some lobs too.
Yeah,
he helped them out.
Yeah, they're more tag team partners, but I was gonna say like R2D2 and C3PO don't count because they're lovers, as Chappelle Show said in that skit about Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Next up, in the galaxy, gay marriage, and it was a picture of them after the accusations against the Jedi Council with Yoda, and I was on.
They were all on a lot though, so maybe.
Oh no, that was the whole thing. Like, we know who was who in that scenario.
I'm not playing that scenario game, so go ahead. Fucking Star Wars dweebs ain't gonna get on my Twitter account.
That's the thing. Like, and more often than not, I think were Hulk and Thor a good tag team at Ragnarok, or is that really not? Because it's more him and that's really a stable movie. It's really a faction movie with Thor, Valkyrie, Hulk. That was the tougher part when I was just trying to keep it to two people. For movies, the majority of the time, like Ocean's 11, again, it's all 11 of them. I know it's more often than not Brad Pitt and George Clooney. I didn't want to just take Danny and Rusty out, but like, and people could argue Fast and Furious, but those are legit. Like, no offense to Letty or fucking Vince or whoever. Like in the first one, Mia, they really didn't matter. It was just solely Brian and Dom. That's where it was at. It was that story. Yeah.
I got one. John McClane and I forgot Samuel L. Jackson character in Die Hard with Avengers.
Basically Samuel L. Jackson.
Damn, what was his name? It was a Greek god name.
Let me see. Oh, Ulysses or Die Hard with a Vengeance. Zeus. Yep, Zeus Carver.
Yeah, there you go. That's crazy if you call your son Zeus. If I ever had kids, I might do that, man. I might start giving them wild Greek god names. Call my son Hercules, see what they're gonna say.
That would be amazing. Hercules Banks.
Like what jobs do you have? I work in a warehouse. You 5 years old. Yep.
That reminds me of something I gotta send to you later.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm not gonna try to break. All right. Yeah, see, that's thing for movies I really didn't have much except because Shane Black kind of perfected the buddy cop formula. I mean, Tango and Cash, but that movie's bad. But those two guys are good together, Stallone and Kurt Russell. And again, and just the name Tango and Cash, it became. I think after PWG started was the Tango and Cash Invitational. Then they changed it to DDT4. But yeah, Tango and Cash became like the template for like buddy cop genre going forward. Besides Lethal Weapon, it was like you think of they're like Stuber. That's a kind of a good one in the last couple of years with Batista and Camille Nanjiani. That's kind of a good one because again, big guy, big guy who's the serious one, and then skinny guy who's the comedy. But again, Batista's actually funny in that movie because he has comedic chops. That's the whole thing where obviously like Dave Batista is the best wrestling actor of all time. A couple weeks ago when we talked about Army of the Dead. And I was trying to movie ones. I was forgetting about this. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Again, writer, director, and the actor. Scorsese and De Niro or DiCaprio. You could just swap out either one. You would probably argue Mila Jovovich and Paul W.S. Anderson. But again, that doesn't count because they're lovers. So never mind. That's the thing I had a few of those. Because more often than not, that gets made more often than two people who are friends getting who two actors getting a movie made together is if you're friends with the creator or have a relationship. That's what kind of makes it more so now than before. I mean, well, it's always kind of been the thing. That's what I mean. I'd say Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson. It's probably out of all of the people he collaborates with the most.
Yeah.
Because obviously, again, Pulp Fiction, Django, his brief part in Kill Bill, Hateful Eight, him narrating Inglourious Bastards. Yeah.
You never seen Bait with Jamie Foxx?
Have you seen? Oh, Bait. I only saw like clip parts of it on TV once.
No, you need to watch that. Him and Mike Epps in that movie, even though Mike Epps only got like 2 scenes. Every single them 2 scenes is fucking hysterical.
Mike Epps, probably the ultimate. I was trying to come up with this with BRP last night. Yeah, so is Mike Epps like RVD? Like he can partner with anyone and have it be dope?
Yep. Exactly. The whole fucking show, and no matter what he's in. The whole show, man.
That is true, because that Survivor's Remorse, he was really the best part of that show, because that was a kind of a weak show, but Mike Epps was great on it.
Yeah.
As the uncle.
Everything he's in, he's like the MVP.
Yeah, I'll agree with that for sure. Mike Epps, come on the show.
That would be great.
You said you could book anyone. Shit. I told you to book Aleister Black, and you said no.
I can do that. You got to get on his Twitch.
Shit, I just had a thought that. Oh yeah, because it's a tag team movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, stuntman and the actor. Yeah, that's again really a tag team story. Is that movie?
Yeah. Because his tag team partner didn't come through at the end, so Brad Pitt had to beat everybody else.
No, he did. He killed the one in the flame with the flamethrower.
No, I said Brad Pitt was beating everybody else while Leonardo was.
Well, that's his whole point. Don't forget, like earlier in the movie, DiCaprio was getting him work, even though everyone's like he killed his wife, and DiCaprio's like, so what? He's a war hero. Come on, like that's a true tag team partner. Like,
yeah, I don't care about what he did. He had to get rid of her.
Again, that's everyone partnering with Kane. So what if he set people on fire? He could choke slam a guy.
Yeah, you big boob motherfuckers.
What about TV?
Oh, with TV? Oh, no, I got this because I'm more so a TV person.
Okay.
I said Sean and Marlon Wayne.
The Wayans brothers.
And the Wayans brothers. I'm gonna go Cross and Banks, and I'm gonna go with Will.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. Again, the family connection.
Yeah, even though we already know Carlson is the best character in that show. And he's with the smoke. He had the most heart.
Damn, that's it for TV. Sean and Gus from Psych. Damn, one of my favorite shows.
I never seen Psych. I just know it used to come on after Raw.
Oh, I was just saying that's how I watched it a few times. It was after Raw. And I definitely made sure to watch the episode that John Cena was going to guest star on that summer. I was like, John Cena's doing it? I got to watch it. Like, I watched that fucking NASCAR show that John Cena was on.
What show?
Where he was right. They had a NASCAR competition where they had celebrities. I think there was like John Cena, John Sally, Jewel, a couple other celebrities that like do NASCAR driving. I think John Cena like placed in 3rd.
Oh, I know something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, Psych, again, it's that great buddy cop dynamic, even though they're not cops, they're private detectives. Again, the whole point of Seinfeld is really George and Jerry, because it's Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David, but they're back and forth in the restaurant, the cafe is always where it's at with the whole like, you're not very smart, are you? No, I like to be though. I would like to be.
Yeah, bro. I wish I could use them in the tag team, but they weren't. Doug Heffernan and Jerry Stiller's character.
No, that's a tag team. That would be that would count.
Because the focal point was the wife, it was Carrie, and it was supposed to
But
be.
it's the three of the, it's the three of them in that house though, so I'll allow it. It counts because again, the whole point was that both of them like Doug fucked up, and he'd have to have his back.
That's one of my favorite shows ever. Arthur Spooner, bro. Every single scene, he'd be funny as hell. He was like, what he said. Remember the episode with Charlie Brown? He was like, this fellow looks like me.
See, and that's the thing. Like, sure, people could say like Seinfeld's a faction, but like Kramer and George's father were a better tag team than Kramer and like. Oh no, see Kramer and Newman as well. Ooh, that would be a tough. Yeah.
I got another tag team. He'll probably like it. Kramer and the N-word. That was his favorite tag
Okay,
team.
all right. You know what?
I
guess, see, I think
15 years ago.
Well, see, I have a problematic tag team, and I'm Ari and Lloyd from Entourage. Because when you're just screaming obscenities and remarks about your coworkers' sexual orientation, you're not really good. You're the tag team. You're the JBL and Lloyd's Ron Simmons. Like I just got to put up with this to get this money.
Exactly.
But obviously they were all great because again, Ari loved Lloyd, and he knew he needed Lloyd. And just him Lloyd.
Yeah, I can never get into that show.
I know you couldn't. A great show, great fucking show.
Yeah, I can never get into that. Let me see.
Most of the times it's comedies, because that's the thing. Like, I mean, dramas. I mean, Stabler and fucking Benson for SVU, Chris Maloney and Mariska Hargitay. Yeah, obviously they're a tag team. Yeah, because they never linked up. I think that was the whole point. That tension. Yeah, or Ice-T and Richard Belzer. You mean to tell me this guy's a pedophile? You've seen that stand-up, right, by John Mulaney?
Bro,
where Ice-T like is always like has no idea. He always has to explain things like you mean to tell me this guy's a gambling addict?
Like it's pretty clear right here.
Yeah, like Ice. It's, just like damn.
And then I'm gonna go investigate. Then he go investigate the shit, and it's like, bro, he asking people questions, they lying. Then he got more evidence. Bro, it's right there. It's right there, pal.
Blue Mountain State, either Sammy and Alex or Thad and Larry.
No, you gotta go with Sammy and Alex.
I don't know. It's also like the tag team partner you really don't want is the guy that's gonna like jerk off as you're having trying to have a threesome. Whereas like Larry would just jump on Thad's back and he'd be like, "Off, Larry," because Larry was the hype man.
No, Larry was the cool man. That's what that was.
Oh my!
Let him ride on your back, bro. What the fuck you doing?
You think you're the shit?
Co-sign everything.
Top the crew. Think you got the Heisman all locked up?
Nah, every time he'll say something, you say something, bro. You ain't got to say nothing back.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, that. Like, shut up, Larry.
You see?
Linus and Charlie Brown. Speaking of Charlie Brown, Snoopy and Woodstock.
Yeah, that's a depressing that show. I never watched that.
Because there's no parents?
No, it's just depressing as hell, bro. Like, he ain't got no self-esteem.
That's why maybe that's why I liked it so much, because I could relate.
Yeah, now you got self-esteem. Bro, this motherfucker up here is trying to get Shorty the goddamn Valentine's Day card. She ain't going. Oh, you could have passed that to Pepper Ann or whoever her name is.
Peppermint Patty. Hey, Chuck.
Yeah, you
How you doing, Chuck?
She don't do shit but be at the booth selling advice and shit. Like, bro.
No, that's Lucy. No, not Lucy. Yeah, that's Lucy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she up here. She was an Instagram influencer. That's all she really was. You telling me some bullshit about some shit. All right, no, ain't nobody. That's why nobody coming to you.
5 cents for advice. A nickel. Shit.
I'll say that. I don't want to hear shit. If that, they need to bring that back in this decade. It'd be cash
They
out.
did.
$50, bro. $50 for some advice.
Here are my ideas, Hollywood. James Bond movie about Daniel Kaluuya, Henry Golden, and Dave Patel in a triple threat match. Here are Banks' ideas. Bring back Charlie Brown, but have it be about Cash App.
It had no plot. It was no plot to that, bro. He was just living his life day to day, going to school, and them motherfuckers were WAP people talking to him. That show had no premise whatsoever, bro. Then they had the school dance and the dirty motherfucker dancing like this. Like, bro, where is y'all parents and why is this little boy?
So the AEW fan was dancing.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was the AEW show. Every time Cody Rhodes be talking, that's how
you're right, because there was only one black person. So yeah.
Damn, it was. Where was his parents? They gonna lie and say his parents abandoned him.
And 100% MJF was the kid playing the piano. He was Schroeder.
They had that same tune. They only knew one. That shit sound like a Detroit rapper beat. It sound like some shit real to God to rap over.
All right, that's a good segue into music. Any good music tag teams? I think this is pretty much obvious.
Oh no! Come on, bro. I'll let you go first because I got so many.
I mean, this isn't views from the 6 pod, but Drake and Future, What a Time to Be Alive, obviously, and then Life is Good.
Drake and 40. Drake and 40.
Drake and 40, Drake and Boy Wonder. But my favorite, obviously, is Watch the Throne. Jay-Z, Kanye West, Paris, Otis, Who Gonna Stop Me, Ham. I mean, so many good songs on that. And that's again post My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, pre-Yeezus. That span of like my favorite Kanye albums, those 3. That's like right in the middle. Again, that's 2 all-stars. That's Dwayne Wade and LeBron like linking up. It's again same time period as well. All that again. If I had a time machine, I definitely would travel back to see Watch the Throne. To go to a Watch the Throne tour show.
That's crazy. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I was like, bro, I was supposed to go to the one in LA and I missed out.
Really?
I regret it because it's like that's once in a lifetime. Like how they say once in a lifetime, we ain't gonna never see that again.
Yeah. No, but
Jay-Z, a billionaire. He's
talking about weird WrestleMania. Talk about wrestling with Bad Bunny. You know, it's bigger than the Super Bowl. Like, no, the fuck it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. They make up fake numbers on attendance for WrestleMania. The Super Bowl doesn't do that. And then the Super Bowl is watched by 100 million people. WrestleMania is watched by like 20 million people. Come on.
And they make up fake numbers from them scores at the Super Bowl as well.
Oh, what do you mean?
The game is rigged.
All right. Okay, Gordon Sully.
I'm telling you, the game is rigged. Why the Cowboys didn't win the Super Bowl? Yeah.
That Gordon Sully thought the regular season was rigged, but the Super Bowl was real.
I believe
it. Yeah. So if the regular season was rigged, how come the Cowboys can't win?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Michael Irvin and Cocaine. That's a better tag team partner than who'd you have for Cocaine? Rock and Roll. Yeah, that's bad on you. Because again, Michael Irvin and Cocaine still to this day. Yeah, we're gonna rip out their throats and shove it.
With a tight ass plastic shirt on, he was going.
We want more. We need more. Michael, you poor again. Just like how you didn't have Tyrese on your Mount Rushmore. I'm disappointed in you not having Michael Irvin as a Cocaine tag team partner. Rock and Roll. Because, who do you love more, Michael Irvin or Rock and Roll?
Oh, Michael Irvin, but playmaker. I mean, it goes without saying sometimes with playmaker.
The eight. Come on.
Playmaker still off that shit, bro.
Disappointed. But anyway, what are some music ones? I bet you got a full list.
Pete Rock and CL Smooth. That's before your time.
Who?
Exactly. Look, you're around a bunch of old heads. Ask them.
Oh yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, ask them about Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Ask them about that.
Last night they were talking about I think Blase.
Talking about who?
Blase, I think.
I know the song, but that's like.
That's what I think they're talking about. No, I think they're nah. I can't remember. This is. Whatever, but what else you got?
Damn, they kind of count as a tag team, but then you got Jam Master Jay there. Run DMC.
Okay, I was gonna say based off the trio, yeah, that's really a trio. It's just like how, because really like Outkast is a duo because it's just them. I know they work with producers, but it's again there's no third person on stage or. No, I know. I'm just saying like or Public Enemy, right? Because Flavor Flav is the hype man.
But in the sense though, these producers is like part of the group. Like Public Enemies, it's Flavor Flav and Chuck D, but then the DJ was also the producer. And then in the case of Outkast, I know Big Boy did a lot of the beats, but then they would have Organized Noise. Organized Noise do some of the beats as well. So I guess
I don't know. I feel like that's an asterisk because again, people would say that Jam Master Jay was a member of Run DMC. Like it was a trio that they weren't. They were a trio, not. No, I'm saying that. I'm saying like they were a trio, not a duo, in terms of like a tag team. Again, like that's the whole point. Like I don't want to, even though the New Day more often than not wrestle as a tag team, and kind of always really did. That was kind of like the big things. Like the New Day as a trio really wasn't like how the Shield was always kind of as a trio, no matter what, until the rebooted versions. But like there was always the third member was always on the outside for the New Day more often than not.
Exactly. Okay, so. Let me go with Daz and Corrupt then. Because Daz used to do the beats. They have other producers, but he did most of the beats. So I'm going with Daz and then
when you're in a bigger group, and then you kind of like work more together, like when two people in a group link up more often than they would with the other members. That's what I mean, where that kind of counts as a tag team.
Yeah. So the Dog Pound, that was the tag team. So
because I really don't. Yeah, because I really don't have much for music, just because I don't listen to music like that, unfortunately.
Who else? Somebody recently. I'm blanking out. It probably wasn't that important then. If I come back to it, I'll let you know. But for the most part in music, because it's always like when I think of music in my sense, it's like it's bands. Because they don't really, even in like in rap, they don't have tag teams like that anymore.
And when they did, it was more often than not, multiple people.
Yeah, because if I say Little Brother, you got Fonte, you got Pooh, and you got Knife Wonder. And Knife Wonder used to do the beats, but he was a part of the band. So it's like, and then I can say the Roots because they really were a full band. All the big timers, ladies and gentlemen. People without cats, people without dogs, elderly, ducks, chicken, snakes, twerkers. I present to you Fresh. Shouts out to Grim. That's where that comes from. The big timers was Birdman, Manny Fresh, and Manny Fresh used to do the beats.
Well, I was gonna say also like a tag team as well as like two people linking up for one album. Like I said, like I Kanye, Jay-Z, Drake, Future. So like any people who did a collab album that you would want to put out as a tag team, whether they did multiple. Or just one?
With them, that was good. I think one was good enough because it was for that time. I think we on the cusp of the 10-year anniversary of that album coming out. It'll be like July or August. I remember vividly when that album.
No, I'm saying, do you have albums like? I'm saying, do you have albums like that's similar in terms of two artists linking up for one album.
What I want now? Probably off the top of my head, David Banner and Knife Wonder did a project together. It's more so like a producer and like a rapper.
Yeah, well, that's still a tag team as well. Yeah, one person's it's splitting the load a different way, but yeah, I mean, doing the
because Gangstar was like a whole group, but it was DJ Premier, Sky Zoo, and Knife Wonder. I'm saying a lot of backpack rap that you don't know about, but if fam listens to this, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Did something that was just like one off. Yeah, I would have to look through and let you know because off the top of my head, it's a couple of them collaborations that's there, and you're like, ooh, that's new, that's different. Oh, Snoop and Pharrell when they did Bush, that album that came out 2015, that had all Pharrell, that had all Pharrell beats on it. I remember that when that came out. And that's in 2015.
And again, Pharrell is someone can partner up with anyone.
Him and Chad, absolutely, and they give us a classic damn near every single time. So,
yeah. All right, so let's just kind of end it with yes, like I said, Watch the Zone is probably my favorite tag team album. Favorite tag team movie, like it would probably have to be. I don't know if I haven't watched Kiss Bang Bang in a while, but like either the Nice Guys or Bad Boys 1 as my favorite like tag. Even though I know they kind of throw Tay Leone in as like, but she's more like the valet than the third member. Because even then, fucking Joe Pantaleone is the captain, is the manager. You won't see your wife for a week.
Yeah.
And then favorite wrestling tag team.
The movies and TV. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. No, I don't know who I would say is my favorite wrestling tag team. That's tough because I mean, the Undisputed Era I count more as the group. Like I said, the Bobby Fish, swap in Bobby Fish or Roderick Strong. It's still an overall faction. I guess Usos.
I'm about to say Lucha House Party. That's what you told me.
I did like Lucha Dragons though. They were pretty good. Or maybe Street Profits. Street Profits. It's
still early though, right?
Yeah, and the thing with tag teams too is that a lot of the ones I like just don't last long. Like the ones I listed with like RVD and Rey Mysterio, those tag teams were all pretty short lived. They're more iconic to me because it's two of my favorite people being paired together. They're two of my favorites, but then it's like for 3 months at the max. But yeah, I mean we're a tag team. I think we're a good tag team.
Absolutely.
X and Van, great tag team.
Oh yeah, I was gonna shout them out as far as tag team.
Yeah, go back, listen to last week's episode.
Yeah, they shouted us out too. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
that was beautiful. Hoops and Brews is a great tag team. Damn, everybody else is kind of like 3 or more.
Yeah,
because whereas Buffy is 4 people.
BRP
is 4
Stable, Public Enemies. Yeah, but that's the thing too. It's like if we did a factions one, that would be. There's a whole kind of bigger list for that. That's next week. Nah.
We might have to, if we don't have nothing on the docket, we might have to do that.
No, next week, because I just want to do it now. We're gonna watch the Fast and the Furious and do commentary. Because after doing that, the Buster brought me back. I'm just in that mind space now. We're like, that's all. We're gonna do it. I know you want to wait a week, but before the movie comes up, but we just got to do it then.
Yeah, we got to figure out how we're gonna set all that up too.
I think we just probably have to watch it. Let me figure it out.
Because without getting sued, it won't be. That's what I'm saying.
We won't. Yeah, we won't upload the video, but we'll just talk over it as the thing. It'll literally be a commentary track, yeah. But all of that, I mean, Banks, where can they find you on social media if you want to be found? That is.
No.
Okay.
The BVD pod is where you can find me, even though my ad is there. Find me at the BVD pod because my main page, I'm just being a devious man, a consensual devious man. So leave me alone.
Like in Pigs of White Women,
Oh, actually,
because because last week Banks cut it off before I got to plug my shit. At Davis aka Drip on Twitter, daviscoltondc on Instagram. Follow Banks versus Davis on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Banks versus Davis, the BVD pod on Twitter. And until then, go back, check out the archives. Got some great episodes in there with some great guests, as we mentioned, Black Variant. Shouts to them. Definitely gonna have them on in the future. And stay tuned for any guests we might have coming up. And look who decided to show up. The milkman himself. Hello? Oh my god. I think we have technical difficulties again with Banks, like we did at the beginning, because it's just me right now. And he just came back with his Trae Young bald head avatar. See you next week.